smiles have begun, temple shining, stories old, from Bangkok heart to Chiang Mai soul. What's up, Thailand, the land to be, from the mountains high to the Andaman Sea, dancing in the streets, a joyous parade where dreams are made in the land of smiles. Floating markets, flavors so fine, coconut curries and sweet sunshine. Elephants roam through ancient lore in the mist. Mountains high to the Andaman Sea, dancing in the streets, a joyous parade where dreams are made in the land of smiles. Floating markets, flavors so fine, coconut curries and sweet sunshine. Elephants roam through ancient lore. In this kingdom there's always more. What's up, Thailand, the land to be, from the mountains high to the Andaman Sea, dancing in the streets, a joyous parade where dreams are made in the land of smiles. What's up, Thailand, the land to be, from the mountains high to the Andaman Sea, dancing in the streets, a joyous parade, dreams are made in the land of smiles.
Imagine a time, not so long ago, when the shores of Pattaya were a world away from the bustling destination we know today. These images offer a glimpse into that era, a journey back to the nascent stages of a transformation that would forever alter this stretch of Thai coastline. From the 1970s onwards, Pattaya began its remarkable evolution, slowly but surely stepping onto the global stage. In those early years, the atmosphere was undoubtedly different, perhaps quieter, more serene. Picture sleepy fishing villages, untouched beaches, and a pace of life dictated by the rhythm of the tides. The seeds of change were being sown, though the scale of what was to come might have been hard to envision. These photographs capture moments in that transition, offering a window into a time when the landscape and the lifestyle held a different character. As the decades progressed, the winds of change picked up speed. The allure of Pattaya's natural beauty began to attract more attention, both domestically and internationally. We see the early signs of development, perhaps the first resorts, the initial infrastructure taking shape. This period was marked by a gradual shift, a balancing act between preserving the natural charm and embracing the opportunities that tourism and growth presented. Each image likely tells a story of that evolving landscape. From those humble beginnings, Pattaya steadily grew into the vibrant and diverse destination it is today. The spirit of enterprise and the unique appeal of the location drew people from all walks of life. We witnessed the transformation unfold, the emergence of new landmarks, the changing face of the coastline, and the burgeoning energy that would come to define Pattaya. This collection of moments allows us to appreciate the journey and the dedication that shaped this remarkable place. Looking back at these images, we gain a deeper understanding of Pattaya's history and the incredible changes it has undergone. They serve as a reminder of how a place can evolve, adapt, and continually reinvent itself. Whether through still photographs or a short video, this glimpse into the past offers a valuable perspective on the present, and perhaps even hints at the future trajectory of this dynamic coastal city. It's a story of transformation, resilience, and the enduring allure of
Well, hello and welcome to What's Up Thailand. Well, today I just fiddling with my buttons here. Today's the topic. We'll chat for a while about Thailand now and then, where we explore the captivating 50-year transformation of the kingdom. This week's show contrasts Thailand's past and also the present through vintage videos and photographs showcasing the evolution of its cities, landscapes, and enduring spirit. Now, here we go. For me personally, I find it pretty difficult to remember all the changes over the last 4 decades. So I hope Johnny, Steve, and Stephen can jog my crumbling memory. And as always, you're more than welcome to join the panel and the chat for you to have your 2 pennies worth.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. G'day, Andy. How you going, mate?
I'm doing fine, mate. I'm doing all right. Is Stephen here? Steve here?
I don't know, mate. The banner's still up.
Yeah, I was still muted for some reason. Do you want one more video, or do
Yes,
we?
please. Yeah.
No. Why don't we have a little chat and then we'll put the other one on? Stretch it out a bit.
Cool.
Okay.
What do you think, Steve?
Nothing like a bit of stretching.
You lead the way.
All right. So
Well,
anyway, Andy, how long have you been in Thailand for? I'll do an interview on Andy now.
well, I was going to do the same to you, actually. But
Not me first, mate. I can't remember yesterday.
and this is my problem. I mean, as I said off air, I came in 1983. But you know, when you're in a place, you don't notice the changes because it's, you know, you're here every day. So if somebody came in 1983 and then came now, they would be perfect to talk to because they would see the changes, which are completely massive. I mean,
so what did you do all those years ago? Did you come here? Did you been here before? Did you come here and just stay, or you come and go?
No, I came on a 3-month contract to work as a DJ. At the Ambassador Hotel, which sort of lasted for about 4 years, and then radio, and then it just opened. The doors were opening, and I sort of stayed here. And the time has flown. I can't believe it. I mean, obviously, you know, got married, started a family, you know, working up the ladders for corporate businesses. No, but, you know, keeping a job basically. And, you know, I was very lucky. Thailand's been super good to me. But changes, I mean, I got loads of little notes here about changes. But when did you come, Stephen? When was your first?
I had a hat company. And I was on my way to Nepal. I called into Thailand because you had to get on a train, planes, whatever. And I just loved the place. I loved the food, because it was very cheap in those days. But one thing I do remember from all those years ago was the V8 tuk-tuks. Oh my God, mate! Do you remember that? That was the fastest thing I've ever been in my life. It had big, wide wheels on the back, and oh my God, mate, did that thing fly! And I got a hotel. Because I've never been here before, and there, and I said, "Want one with a balcony so I could have a smoke?" So I opened up the balcony. It was right on the freeway, and you know the cars were just turning on the freeway, so they looked like they were going to run you over. I always remember that. Give us a balcony.
You dated yourself then. You couldn't smoke in the room, right? Because in the old days you could smoke in the room.
But just opening the balcony and seeing all those fucking right on the freeway, mate. I mean, the cars were about 4 foot away from the balcony, you know, like going 100k an hour. Yeah, it was good. And
so what was the date?
Having the seafood and stuff, and it was just so cheap in those days, you know.
What year was that then, Stephen?
Oh, about 94. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had a computer business, and I used to go there and get all my computers built because you couldn't even build them for that price at home.
Oh yeah, Pantip Plaza was the place.
The components at the time were very cheap. So I used to go to what was that big
Pantip Plaza?
That's the one. Yeah, and I used to go there and get all the pirate software and blah blah, and
they would actually build them for you. They'd build the towers.
I actually got 3 computers built, cheap as all get out, and
under your own spec, right? Bespoke spookers.
Yeah.
Bespoke computers. Yeah. Steve, did he? Hello.
No, I'm listening. It's fascinating. One quick question. One quick question, Mr. Clark.
Yeah.
Did I mishear, or did you say you had a hat business?
Yeah, I was in a hat business. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you remember the crazy hats? That crazy hats, like the bowler hats and the American hat and the actually, you know, the guy that does John Chem streamer. He put a Rasta hat on the other day. That was mine. He
Really?
I've got to get hold of him and see if I can get the label off it, see if it's one of mine. But I designed that hat myself.
Were they made here? They were made here.
When he put it on. Sorry?
They were made here, right?
No, they were made in Nepal. That's why I was up in Nepal.
Right.
And I used to get those Rasta hats come from, hang on, where do they come from? Yeah, they come from South America. Shit like them important, but I designed the whole lot with the dreadlocks on it and the.
Oh right, I've seen that. Yeah. And you get
I know what you mean now. Yeah. I've seen it. You're talking about Colin. Colin.
Yeah, Colin. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't remember his name.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to get hold of him about that. Might friggin' buy it off him. Yeah, but I designed that hat. Yeah, I remember I went to Nepal. Sorry, I'm raving on a bit, but I went to Nepal and I sent over my secret because when I started doing it, I was in this show. What do you call them? Carnivals, and they were all copying everybody, and they were copying my designs and stuff, and copying, bringing in the hats. I was the first to bring it in, and I get over there and gave me top secret documents to design these hats, and I went around a few shops just to check on prices, and they bring out my documents. Say, "Oh, we got these hats if you want." The little bastard, he went and sold them all my designs to the other shops.
They were in Chatuchak Market the next day, I would imagine.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. I made a friggin' fortune out of that. I remember doing a big pop concert, and when we have big carnivals in Australia, and it was in an oval, right? It was a concert. And it was full, and here's my hats on it, just about every second head. Made millions out of that.
Ka-chung.
Yeah. No, I didn't get that much, Andy. But I was bringing them in for $1 because it was, I can't remember the term of it, about $1, and I was selling them for $30.
Oh, really? Is Johnny with us now? Is Johnny here?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just thinking about this.
I've never told you guys about that. I had a big hat company.
What was that? What was it called? Mad Hatters?
No, Crazy Hat Company. Yes, years ago.
What about the people like me with small heads, Stephen? You said you got a big hat company. I've only got a small head.
Well, that was the second invention, Steve. It was designer condoms. They'll fit any prick.
Yeah.
When we're getting hold of Colin, see if it's still got a label on it. Yeah, probably $1,000 for it if it has.
It's going to go in a museum.
So when did you first come over then, Johnny?
What do you say?
2000 something. Early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah. And
hang on, I'll shut the dog up.
Casper, behave yourself. I remember, getting off the aeroplane and, have a bit of a wander around Swanee Pond. And I thought to myself, well, taxis are taxis. They're all going to rip you off.
Oh, did they ever?
So I kind of went, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, that one will do. And he didn't actually rip me off. He was more than fair.
You used to have barter. You had to barter your fare, right?
Yeah. And I actually booked the hotel at Nana Plaza. And
which one?
Well, the Nana Hotel.
Nana Hotel.
Dirty bitch.
Yeah, we know what you're doing.
Whoremonger. Was that a whoremonger? It was a whoremonger, isn't it?
No. I wasn't familiar, too much. I will admit I only booked one night there and only stayed one night. But there's a little mall thing, and I did a bit of research. I knew that there was a bookshop in the back, kind of, if you're looking at the front from Suckinvit Road, the back left-hand kind of corner, there was a bookshop, and you could get a little dictionary, like Thai to English, English to Thai, but it was actually written as you'd say it, as like from an English point of view, you know. And you know, I beat that book up for years, you know. It was a bloody handy thing, and I got myself a map, so I wasn't, you know, geographically challenged. But yeah, then the next hotel, I thought, no, I'll get out of here because we don't like this place, you know, down the road a bit further, and was a Bangkok hotel, which in its day it would have been splendor, but it was taken over by people from the darker continent, and it went downhill. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, going back then, back in the early 80s, Nana Plaza, you know, where they have all those bars, well, one floor, second floor, and third floor now, but in that area, the ground level, you used to be able to park. And they had a fish and chip shop there called the White Rabbit. They had a clinic, a health clinic, and you had sort of like horizontal parking. You could just drive in, and the bars were very well. There was only one floor. I think it was only one level of bars, maybe two. Nothing like it is now. That has totally changed. But can you imagine parking in there?
Andy, can I ask you a quick question? Because it's something we've talked often, but I've never really asked you this. I understand you came here for your 3-month contract that lasted much longer. But when you first came here, did you know what to expect? Had you done any world traveling before? I mean, because for most of us, when we got to Thailand, we think, wow, this is just amazing and incredible place, and never seen anything like it. Did you have an interview in Thailand, or had you experienced it before you took the job?
Well, no, I mean, I'd never traveled to Asia. I was like a European DJ, so I went around Europe, but I was at the time in London on quite a long contract, and my agent came in and said, look, we got this gig in Bangkok. I've talked to your boss here. He'll let you go. It's a 3-month contract, and it's in Bangkok. I seriously, without a lie, on my children's lives, I got on the plane, had no idea where Thailand was. My mother said to everybody I'd gone to Toyland, but that's. But yeah, so I landed at Dong Mueang. I landed at Dong Mueang, and I was expecting thatched huts, and like I don't know, like not what I saw, especially the traffic. And we're on the frontage road because I was going to the Ambassador, which is Sukhumvit Soi 11. But I was going down the frontage road, and you know the bus stops, they are like little pagodas, right? I thought they were temples. I thought, oh, that's really nice. There's a lot of them. And that's all I can remember. Going to the hotel. So you sat
down, you did a little prayer, and you thought, this is good.
well, they did pick me up at the airport, but when they dropped me off at the hotel, I remember to this day the smell that I smelled when I walked into the hotel. A sort of a jazz. It felt like I was in a southeastern country. You know, it all smelled so different. Not nasty. It was a hotel, right? So it smelled all right.
One more question. I mean, correct, Andy. We've got to do a proper interview on this. One more question. When you first came over here, you obviously had a little bit of money in the bank. I'm not asking, but did you find you spent far more money than you expected to when you came here, or was it because you were? I suppose you were working, so you didn't have opportunity to go crazy like most people on holiday.
No, the lucky thing that I had, because my hours were like 10 till 2, I didn't go out at night. Afterwards, I used to go to, because it was right next door, Thermes bar for a drink after like the 2 o'clock hours. I used to go there. Right. Money-wise, I didn't have to spend because I could sign for anything in the hotel, drinks and food. And they had about the old days, Ambassador Hotel had loads of outlets from French to Italian. So I could sit anywhere I wanted, breakfast, lunch and dinner. I mean, I got to a point where I got so bored of those, I had to go outside and pay. But I didn't have to, even the minibar in my room. So you can imagine 4 years of that. So no, I didn't. I saved a lot of money. I just didn't spend it. No, just couldn't go out. Fantastic. I mean, at night, couldn't go out.
Yeah.
That was probably my saving.
You lived a different life in Thailand to most of us. No power to you.
Well, I do remember Pattaya back in the days. I don't know when you guys got there, but we saw it in one picture. It was very much like that. It was more like a dirt farmer's track, beach road, and walking street was not. There weren't so many bars. Well, there weren't a lot of bars at all back then. But there were beer bars and things, but nothing like now. You know, they hadn't invented LED lights.
Andy, can I ask you a
We
question?
obviously. Oh, sorry.
Andy, I went there about 95, 96, whatever. And I went, there was no high-rise buildings. Well, not a lot, okay? And there was one on the beach that had an elevator, and it was a glass elevator, and the elevator faced the water. Do you remember that hotel? That's all I remember.
Oh, I don't know that. I mean, me and hotels. As I said to Johnny, I think it was off air, but they're always changing their names. And I mean, if we're talking about now and then, the growth of the hotel business. I mean, back in the day, there's only a few hotels looking the same as they did back then. Now, and I think Johnny mentioned one. What was it, Johnny?
I don't remember. That was half an hour ago.
You got to remember 20 years ago.
You know, the thing is, a lot of them, and the one hotel that, like I say, that does stick in the mind, which was in its day splendor, which was the Bangkok hotel, to what it is now is, you know, rubbish. But you know, just up, I think, be about 20. Hang on, be late 20s or you know, kind of early 30s. There was a couple of hotels there. They were just demolished, and now they're all condos.
Yeah, I mean, also the hotel rooms were a lot bigger. It's like the condos back in the early 80s. There was a lot of condos on Soy's Sukhumvit 33 and 35, also Pahonitin and Ceylon and all that. And that's what they're doing now. That was then. They're renovating these old condos because, you know, the trend now is the 35 square meter condo for, you know, they rent out for commuters and things like that, or Airbnb. But back in the day, they made condos, hotel rooms were a lot larger. You got a lot more space. People used to come and visit me at the hotel, and they would say, wow, these rooms are really massive. But that's now a thing of the past. The Asia Hotel is still, I think, the same.
I was just remembering the hotel that Steve was talking about at Monument. I think I stayed in that. It's a wooden place, and you know, one of these things. You see the photos and you go, "So, oh, look at that! That's wonderful." You get there and you say, "Friggin' joint's falling apart." You know, I'm not walking up those steps.
Oh, no, it's not, Johnny. It's not that bad. As my cousin
maybe they
called
fixed it. Maybe in the last 20 years they fixed it.
Faded grandeur, in that you can just imagine that when it was built, it would have been fantastic. I mean, it's very ornate, as you say. Everything in the room is wooden, really nice quality wood. But,
yeah, all good teak
and super size rooms. I mean, they're all 40 square meters, which for a hotel room,
that was the days when
really
I think
good.
There was about. I think in those days it was basically four rooms to a floor.
Okay.
So the rooms were really large, you know, and then what did they get? Then they went from four to about 6 or 8. Rooms aren't the size they used to be, you know. Some of them you have to go outside to change your mind, you know.
Yeah, they were a lot of wood. Do you remember they used to have those floor standing air cons? They were always dark brown and cream at the top, and they were on the floor. They weren't mounted on the ceilings. Loads.
Oh, the evaporative ones.
Sorry.
The evaporative air cons. You know, you had to put the water in.
No, well, I never. No, they used to have the slats on the top, and in the hotels they were just like a cream and dark brown. They were everywhere back in the day. Yeah, and you used to pick up one of the slats, and it would have the controls: low, medium, or high, cool, hot, or whatever. But I mean, you don't see those anymore.
Yeah, guys, I remember getting out of the airport, and you had to dance with the taxi drivers. Geez, they were nasty back in the day, weren't they? They'd take you every. Yeah, they had to take you around to their sister's place. Then they had to take you around to the tailor, and then there was usually took you to get somewhere to eat. Jesus, they were rip off. They were quite nasty in them days.
Well, there's the Asia.
Was years.
Yeah, they take you around to the gem shop and all the rest of the
Oh,
places.
yeah, I've got the gem shop. Yeah.
There and whatever. And you know, you're expected to buy stuff, and that I like it now because you can just get in a taxi and just go, none of the bullshit, and you've got Bolt and Grab, which have kept them honest.
I never had any of these experiences when I went there of people take. I mean, we did in Cambodia a little bit. When I first went to Cambodia, the taxi drivers would take you to the hotel they wanted you to stay in, the bar they wanted you to drink in, the restaurant they wanted you to eat in. But I never experienced that in Thailand.
Oh, no,
maybe I can. I mean, I got here in 99, so 98, 99.
Tuk-tuks used to do it, take you to massage parlors and jewelry and tailor shops.
Yeah. No, I never. Maybe my miserable face helped.
Yeah, well, I've been on 3 tuk-tuk rides in my life, and a few, you know, moto taxis. I think the moto taxis I kind of got from the hotel from having a little bit of a session back to the hotel on a moto taxi, and I woke up the next morning and thought, shit, we're still alive. I'm never doing that again. Up Suckinbit Road, sitting side saddle, drinking a can.
Do you remember that fantastic technology in Thailand where you had to make a phone call and they had the internet, and you went to these little shops and you connected, you could ring people on the internet? It was what technology? Yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
but back in the
back in England, you had to buy an international phone card. You then had to have a code to get into your phone card. So to phone Thailand, it was a nightmare. It was ridiculously expensive. Ridiculously expensive. And the only way to make it half decent, half reasonable was to use one of these international phone cards that you used to be able to buy from Indian news agents in England. They were always phoning in, you know, and that was the best place for them. Some of them were Jesus, I'd forgotten excuse my language, what a fucking nightmare it was. Trying to call Thailand. Yeah, I'll put money in the box. But it was just horrendous. And now it is so easy to call anybody online or FaceTime or
the whole world's broken up.
And we're talking about a small time in history. We're talking about 20 years, nothing. And yet the whole world's changed. God, I'm sounding like an old man, aren't I? But I can't believe it.
Well, actually, Steve, I can remember with the landline phone, you rang all these 100 numbers and all that, and you got through, and the service was actually crap.
Yeah.
And then you get your phone bill and find out, shit, it cost me bloody near an airfare to talk fucking 4 times for the month.
There were some that were real cons, but just to go through, I can remember you had a password to get into the card, then you had to dial the special number on the card, then you had to dial the number you wanted in Thailand. It was horrendous.
Yeah.
And does my wife even remember I did that for her? No. Do I get any gratitude? No. Anything at all? Don't even get a blowjob. Nothing.
That-
Zero.
That's why you're
Well,
scarred. I know.
you know what they say, Steve?
Mm.
It's all in the training. So you're the one that failed.
Yeah, you're right.
But
What
also,
what about when you got to your room, you had to plug your frigging cable into the network? Half the time.
Oh,
it
the
worked.
LAN.
Well, to be honest, when it first started, we didn't even have bloody internet.
No, Stephen, don't forget, the hotels used to boast that they had a fax machine in the business center.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You got to have the fax
Yeah,
machine.
and I can remember the business centres. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, most
Business.
hotels had a little business centre. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was good stuff. I mean, you get sometimes you had dial up, you and shit, and then you had to. Yeah, I know. And some of the hotels, mate, they had friggin' actual network where you plugged it. This was big shit. This was, but that.
Well,
didn't
at
work
home,
well.
you used to have a modem, right? A modem, and you have to plug everything in the back.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm
made up
talking about
any noise.
Bangkok in the hotels. Yeah, it was good.
Gentlemen, can I just reply to the chat because
You go.
I forget when I'm looking at the buttons. I don't reply enough. Rick, Private Dancer is about the most famous book in Thailand. So I'm surprised you know. But the best one is called Silly Billy, and the guy who wrote it lives in Pattaya, and he wrote two: Silly Billy 1 and Silly Billy 2. Or Silly Billy and then Silly Billy 2. Silly Billy 2 is not quite so good, but Silly Billy 1 is the funniest book about Thailand you'll ever read.
Yeah.
Really good. All the classic stories, very funny, all about an innocent abroad. And it's one, I don't know, although I won't say what my education was, but I did a lot of English literature. Most books I get bored with and I want to rush, I sort of put away. Silly Billy, you just read it right the way through. And I think that's always a good measure of a book if you just want to read it. Really good book.
Yeah.
Right, that's it.
Well,
Private Dancer.
One of the
booking
things,
a book.
one of the most attractive things in Thailand was, the food. You come from Australia and so forth, and I'd travel all over the world. That's me. God, I'm fantastic. Anyway, let's get back on track. You get to Thailand, the food was just insane, and the prices were so cheap. I remember going to restaurants and you sit there with your missus and she orders all this exotic shit and you just order a piece of fish or something and all the food comes, you can't eat it because it's too fucking hot. I end up eating and she eats me freaking fish. Never mind, that's another story.
Well, no, I mean, I used to travel back in the sort of the 80s when the pound to the baht was different from today. And we used to find it so expensive in England, so expensive. But now when my friends come over from England, they're saying, well, Thailand is not that cheap anymore. We can get, fish and chips in a pub at the same price as you're paying on Sukhumvit or whatever. So that's the baht to the pound, as Johnny was saying earlier. It's the financial wise. It was a cheap place.
Don't forget, Andy, it's also if you go into the middle of Sukhumvit and stuff like that, it's more of a tourist area. Like Pattaya, you can get half decent fish and chips for not a lot of money because there's competition. Although it is a tourist area, if you go to Chiang Mai, prices aren't too bad because they're catering, for the Western crowd. But it's all supply and demand. But I've always been a cook my own stuff, so I actually make me bloody own anyway. So what the hell?
No.
Well, don't forget, just staying on that hotel business, with now you just go to booking.com or Agoda or whatever, and you can get a fair idea of, you get an exact idea of the price. And, if you believe the pictures, that's up to you. But there's comments, whether you believe them or not. So it's not foolproof. But back in those days, you had to go to a travel agent. Do you remember those? Well, I never went to one. I got a ticket to come here, but friends would come. Oh, we went to the travel agents and we sorted out your trip to Thailand, and they recommend. That's all you had is their say, and they'd book the air.
Yeah.
The hotel. There was, now you can do it all yourself, all online. Pick airlines, pick hotels, how long, move to here. And so back then, it was more.
I used to use a sort of proper travel agent in England called Travel Bag, and they're the ones that sort of used to do. I would imagine their business is minuscule now compared to what it was, but they used to do all the sort of trips for Australia and adventures for youngsters, those sort of things. And I used Travel Bag for years before the internet. And when they had the disruption and the Thailand airport was, I can't remember, it wasn't Don Muang. I think it was the big airport was closed, and my flight was cancelled. Travel Bag were absolutely fantastic. When I heard all these horror stories from other people, I phoned Travel Bag up and said, look, my flight's been cancelled because the protesters have closed down the airport.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't have to do anything, Andy. Normally when you get in that situation, you have to keep phoning them up and saying, look, when can I get another flight? And yeah, they're always engaged and whatever. Travel Bag called me, booked me a flight a couple of days later. It was perfect. I thoroughly recommend them. I would imagine they're probably not so good now. And look, I'm a horrible man because now I use the internet rather than use Travel Bag, which probably cost a little bit more. But they were absolutely out of this world brilliant. And I got to Thailand and everybody had similar stories of, it was a disaster. I was waiting. I was at the airport. I mean, I even got a phone call before my flight saying, don't go, Steve. Your plane won't be able to land. You're not going to, we'll get you booked in somewhere. We'll get you another flight booked in. And I heard all these horror stories of people that had been stuck at Heathrow or Gatwick or wherever. And I thought, God, how lucky I was.
Yeah,
Look, just go on. Sorry, Steve. Go on.
No, my story's finished.
All right. Dutch Barang, he used to use Skype in Thailand. Look, everybody's using Line now, Dutch Barang. It's the biggest thing in Southeast Asia. Same by the
Now, what he's saying, Stephen, look, sorry to interrupt. What he's saying is Skype, you could phone a landline.
That's right.
You can't phone a landline online unless unless they've already got line. You can't.
Yes, you can.
You can't.
All right. Okay.
Does anybody have a landline these days?
Right, okay,
that's the other thing. That's the other thing. But you can actually get through your internet a Vopar phone app thing, and you use an old style phone and make calls internationally, which is a bit dodgy, but you get that what would you call it, echoey, bloody look like you're talking down Steve Perrin's two tin cans, and the string. But Vopar is one, but mate, everybody's got a mobile nowadays. If they haven't got a mobile, they're either very, very young or live in the jungle.
They're strange.
Oh,
I
wouldn't say that.
Financially challenged might be the thing, but
the problem he's highlighting is not that though. Let's say you want to call Barclays Bank on their free phone line from Thailand. You can't use Line to do that. You used to be able to use Skype to do it. So you got a problem with your bank or something else in England, whatever you're doing. I don't know what it's like in Australia, but in England we have pre-phone numbers. 0800. You can't use any other method to use them apart from Skype, or you couldn't do. So what he's asking, and it's a great question because I don't know the answer, is there an alternative to Skype now? Because Skype have stopped doing it. That was a question.
No, not Zoom.
And I know you're saying you can, Steve, but honestly, you can't. The line will not
Yeah, Steve,
call
you can use it.
free
You can-
phone number.
Steve, you can use it to call landlines. But who the fuck
No, a
nowadays
free.
rings landlines?
All right.
Now
What
read
they
the
do
chat,
is they ring
Stephen. Read the
line.
chat.
Line's the biggest communication in Southeast Asia. But Steve, you can use line to ring a phone number. You really can.
Okay.
All right. It's called line VIP. Oh, it's called line call. So it's in the program. But you're going to pay
And
for
you
it.
can put. Okay. Well, try to call a free phone number in the UK.
You won't be
0800
able
number.
to. You couldn't even do that online because there's zeros in it.
No, but you could do. That's the point. You can do it on Skype. That's exactly the point the guy was
that's
making.
what I'm saying. You could not do it on Skype with our phone numbers because of the zeros. It wouldn't connect. I used to use Skype a lot to
So
ring.
the fact that I did it, I was imagining it. I've done it on Skype.
Okay.
I've
Can
called
I
an
say-
0800 number.
Well, it
I
wouldn't
think
work on the
communication back in the day, when you traveled here back in the 70s or early 80s, you were really traveling. Now you get to the airport at Heathrow, you sit in a lounge, you have everything done. It's non-stop. You don't have to stop in Istanbul, not Istanbul, but Pakistan somewhere. All along you land, it's all taken care of, and so back in the day it was more of a challenge to travel, I guess, right? Communication wise.
Yeah. Let me ask you all a question. Did you do? I've watched a lot of videos lately where people talk about going to the lounges at Bangkok Airport. Suleiman bin. Do you use those to talk? I mean, they look super value. One guy I saw the other day said it was £25 to get all the food he wanted. It looked like he was getting free beer. Certainly, he could sit in a lovely lounge, looking over the airport for 25 quid. I've never used them. Do you use them at all? I'm not asking you that question, Andy, because I know what your answer is going to be. But other gentlemen,
No, I'm a cheap ass.
25 quid though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
well,
you
the
get
whole-
lounges now
the whole-
through credit cards and all that. Don't you? Sorry.
The whole part about it is I wait to the death knot before I go through the doors. I usually go to the 7-Eleven and get myself some beer and shit like that and sit out in the garden until there's death knock, and then I've got to go.
I know, but it's
one way of
pretty uncomfortable. You're wandering on. I mean, those lounges look pretty good. And
Yeah,
if you can sit there, go on.
No, go on. Well, I just believe that those lounges were great in the days when they're sort of premium. Now everyone's doing them. You can get them with credit cards, can get them with air miles, and it's very easy now to get into these lounges, and they're not like they used to be. The food's not so good, whatever. I mean, you go to a first class premium lounge and you think, oh, I've arrived. You know what I mean? They got showers and beds and massage and a full-on buffet of anything you want with good food and drinks. That's what I call a lounge. But it's still nice to sit away from the maddening crowd, I guess. I've only been to a few, but that's my thing.
I've never been into an airport lounge. Shows what a cheap Charlie I am.
Well, I think they're more available than you realize, but hey, I don't either because I fly with Thai because I'm affiliated to them. But so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, do you use one, Johnny?
Andy,
Oh, no.
Andy, are you
No,
air hostess? You air hostess, Andy?
Well,
But
you
it-
want to see my uniform, mate?
You sick thing!
The thing is, I used to fly predominantly Thai, and it got to the stage where they were the biggest joke in the air. So I stopped flying with Thai and just did the scumbag bloody Jetstar flight, which was, in honesty, a better quality of customer. There was things you didn't get, but there was stuff you could get, but you had to, pay a couple of bob for it. But there was stuff you were supposed to have got with Thai Airlines when, in the end, you weren't getting shit. But yeah, I like, as far as I think, going back many, many moons ago, company I used to work for, I used to fly around quite a lot, and the airport lounges, like the Qantas lounge and stuff like that before your flight. You could sit back there and look over the airport and have a cigarette and a beer, and if you wanted a few prawns or whatever, that was wonderful.
Wow. Who remembers smoking on planes?
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah. Good old days.
Yeah,
but you had to wind down the window though, Andy.
Yeah. Well, there was nothing wrong with that.
And then people kept disappearing, and they wondered why.
Well, look at that.
But actually on that, I installed a flight app on my phone. The other night there was a plane flying across, and went out and held the phone up and put the app on.
Yeah.
I went, oh shit! Now there's a plane. There's a plane going from Melbourne Tullamarine to Christchurch in New Zealand, and it left 18 minutes ago from. I thought, shit, that's a bloody good app. But I was more interested in the local airfield, some of the VRS flights that come out of there of a night.
I have an app called Flight Radar, but I use it because you can get into the departure and arrival boards. It's really handy. It's free.
This is the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. You can look up your own flights and all this kind of shit. And
yeah.
I just want
arriving, they're arriving on time or they're delayed. So I know when to leave the house.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. But I think the last two times I've gone to Thailand, arrived half an hour early.
Well,
and taken off half an hour late. When I thought to myself, that don't quite add up.
You thought downhill from Melbourne, no, John?
No, well, going over is uphill and coming back is, downhill.
Yeah, you've got good tailwind to get there earlier, But,
yeah, but I think because they pay for their spot, and if they miss their spot, they've got to pay again. So they use a bit more kerosene and open the throttle up.
That's another job the captain has to do. Everyone thinks he's just there like twiddling knobs and handing it over to the first officer on the right. He has to work out, shall I get there a bit quicker so I can get the spot into Heathrow? Otherwise, it's going to cost £10,000 more. They have all that going on. Apart from before they even take off, they have to work out how many luggage they got, what's the weight, what's the fuel, because that's the expense. I mean, that's most of their job. Flying the plane's got nothing to do with it, to be honest.
That's got me onto my favourite one. My favourite one. I do not think we should be paying a general fee for a seat. I think the person should stand on a set of scales with their luggage, and they pay per kilogram.
That's because you're thin.
So the fat bastards pay like a fat tax. I like that idea.
Because I fly for that. Well, I have an insight to landing charges because when I fly, I get, it sounds really good, right? A free flight if there's a seat. So I go to the airport never knowing if I get on or not get on, and that's a horrible feeling. But hey, you're getting a free flight. But you have to pay for all the other charges, like landing fees, taxi fees, docking fees, and all that. If I go to Hong Kong, my ticket normally is around about 2,500 baht to land in Hong Kong. To land in Heathrow, it's 10,000 baht.
Yeah.
So you show this. So that shows the real fee because they're not ripping me off because we're sort of staff. So yeah, So Heathrow is the most expensive airport I've had to land on a free ticket. Hong Kong is great, Vietnam's cool, and all the local ones are like under 1,000 baht. So the busier the airport, depends on the city you're landing in, I guess. I don't know, but it's, I got a real sort of perspective of how much does it cost to land. You know, it's not cheap. It's not. So these airlines have to figure out, no shows. Do you remember when you used to get a ticket? Do you remember when you say you were flying to wherever you're flying to? Say for me it was London. You used to have to ring the airline to say you're confirming your trip back. Do you remember those days?
Yes.
Confirm it.
Yeah, and that's not that far long ago, Andy.
It's
it
not.
was, I'm saying, 15 years. You had to confirm your flight.
About that, yeah.
Yeah. And I always thought at the time, what a stupid. I booked my flight. Why do I have to confirm that I am going to take that flight when I know that if I don't take the flight, I'm going to have a real struggle to get any money back from you? I just found that so weird.
But my wife works on the accounting side. She works in refunds, and she said that it's very thin lines of making money and not making money on how many people you got on that plane. And it's you don't know who's going to show. You don't know how many people on standby you can let go. And she said it's the margin is pretty small. It's pretty. I mean, the margin can be great if you're a successful airline and you're doing it, bookings and marketing correctly. But I mean, as what did Branson said once asked, how do you become a millionaire? And he said, well, first you have to be a billionaire and then buy an airline.
Well,
Well, no, look, I'm not as an avid fan of. Sorry, Johnny, you come on.
I was just going to say that goes a statement with a lot of businesses, but it depends on how astute you are.
Correct. In the day, British Airways was voted the #1 airline, for many years. Thailand was up there once. Cathay Pacific, Singapore Airlines. Where are they now?
Cathay Pacific, believe it or not, that was started off, and it's still classed as, and it is, an Australian airline based out of Hong Kong.
Oh, yeah. And they were really, I was going to say, flying high. Oh, that's so crass. But what I meant was they were top of the charts.
Movie. But the one, Cathay Pacific, I flew Cathay Pacific many a time, even though it was a bit of piss around, but you got treated very, very well. If you asked for a beer, it was there in minutes, not, oh, look, I might get to you by the end of the flight.
Yeah.
You could actually get pissed on a fucking on a Cathay.
Well, also Thai Airways, because I flew coincidentally on Thai Air International, it was called then, from London when I first came here. But we'd sit in the bulkheads with the hostesses, opening the drinks, smoking, and it was a laugh. It was it was like, being down the pub, down the end of the plane. It was great until you got off and you had a major hangover and it was 40 degrees Celsius and humidity was 90%. That didn't help the hangover. But no, really, I don't agree, obviously, with smoking on a plane. It sounds disgusting to me now, to be honest, only because there's non-smokers on there. But all I'm saying is it was quite fun. The service was impeccable. I can't remember the food. Who cares? But the drinks, all available. They didn't care how drunk you got, as long as you were, now they're limiting drinks on the planes, right? Or there's no drinks allowed, or you have to pay for the drinks. So it's changed a lot.
Don't you find it weird though that all the upgrades airplanes go through, because we've all seen them have new media put in there where you've got your screen on the back of the seat rather than the TV and whatever. But they still have the sign that says, bing, bing, seatbelts on, no smoking.
I know.
Isn't that
Well, you
the
know,
weirdest thing? Because
well,
I can remember the last time I could smoke on an aeroplane was Garuda in about 2005. Garuda, Indonesian.
yeah,
They
what were you
flew
doing
from
on one of
Gatwick.
their flights?
They were
What?
really cheap, and you could smoke on them. Back of the plane, you could smoke until about 2005,
Yeah.
maybe 4.
No,
And you can
JAL
smoke on
were the same as well. JAL were the Japanese.
They had the worst safety record in the world at one stage. Garuda.
We need Adrian here. He would love this
Yeah.
conversation. He would love.
But
Who remembers?
yeah,
the-
I would imagine he knows the answer as well. Why is
Yeah.
that sign still there? Because it's not as if it's impossible to change it because they've had it for so long.
Well, no one's
and you
probably-
could,
no one's
it would
thought
take
of it.
2 minutes. It would take 2 minutes to get rid of the no smoking sign.
But do you remember when
But
they
they've
projected?
still got it.
Do you remember when they projected the movies on the bulkheads, every sort of section of the cabin? That was it. That was your movie. And if you had somebody in front with a big hairstyle or taller than you, which in my case,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you had to sort of like look in the aisle to see this grainy projected movie, and you had no choice. That's the movie. Everybody watched
yes.
it. Or yeah.
Andy, that's exactly my point, in that we've all watched that change over the 20, 25 years, whatever. But we still haven't seen it change. Well, we've still got that light saying, ding, ding, no smoking, ding, ding.
No, it's the
It's
thing
a
is,
great sign. Because I used to
Steve?
worry. Go on.
Steve, I'll correction there. There used to be 2 thingos. Now it's in one. Fasten seatbelts, no smoking. But the thing is, it was always, ding, ding for one thingo and ding, ding for the other. The lights were separated. But the last time I flew, I think that was all just kind of bang, put your seatbelts on, no smoking.
So you think I'm misremembering it? You think the no smoking sign is now gone, and I'm just remembering
it's
wrong?
there,
It could be
still
right.
there. It's still there, but I think that
All right.
it might even be on all the time. I don't remember that part of it. But the thing about it was the days of smoking. There was no smoking before takeoff and landing, and everybody sat down the back having a smoke, and they had that curtain that stopped everything.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the people that forward of that curtain, they wanted non-smoking. That was the non-smoke. I think they should bring that back.
And also, Andy, you mentioned the quality of the air. Apparently, and this is a scientific fact, the quality of the air when you used to be able to smoke on an aeroplane was far, far better than it is now that they've stopped smoking. You get far more incidences of what's the thing on your leg called?
Thrombosis. Thrombosis.
Yeah.
No?
There's a better word for it, but yeah, there's far more instances of that because the quality on the air now in an airplane is far inferior because they don't need to filter the air so much. You haven't got me and Johnny and Steve and smoking at the back of the airplane, so you don't need to filter the air so much. You don't need to clean the air so much, so the quality of the air is poorer. And deep vein thrombosis, that's what we're looking for.
All right.
A lot more deep vein thrombosis because the air quality is not so good. There you go. It's better. It was better traveling when people could smoke on the plane. And don't misunderstand me, it saved the airplanes lots of money because they don't have to filter so much. But it was better for the customer.
But back in the days of Don Mern, back in the 50s, of course, Thailand had close associations with Holland, with the Dutch royal family and everything else.
Yeah.
And they are the first planes commercially to fly and land at Don Mern. They were sort of the entrepreneurs of.
Hey guys, do you think we should play the other movie now, Steve? Do you think?
I got it if you want.
Say again, Stephen.
Do you think we should play the other movie now?
Okay. Give me a minute.
All right.
I'd love to do. I'd love to do.
Andy, that You know, you pay so much money for your airfare, and the airlines don't get a lot of it, and the government's just ripping everybody off. All the governments all over the world, the airports and shit, and it's absolutely nuts.
Travellers,
Well,
holiday.
I don't know what it's like in Australia, but in Europe, lots of the cheap airlines, what they do is they persuade cities to pay them money to bring in tourists. So
Yeah,
cheap airlines from you know, I can't, what's it called, Ryanair or whatever. Cities in Spain or Italy or whatever actually pay the airline to bring customers into their city, because they know that if they bring customers in, they're going to stay in the hotels, they're going to eat in the restaurants, they're going to drink in the bars.
Exactly right.
Huh?
Yeah, that's what you remember when Thailand had the problem with the COVID virus. You know, they opened it up and they weren't getting the customers in there. Why did the government turn around and say, okay, that's $1,000 for an airfare. We'll give you $300 per airfare to bring the people in to spend $15,000 in our country.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I really don't.
yeah,
Nuts.
yeah. It's the cleverest thing to do, and the guys that have made money on airlines, where they say, "Oh, we'll take you to Barcelona for £20." Genius, because Barcelona is saying, "Oh, right, every customer you bring in, we're going to give you £200 because we know they're going to spend 10 times that in our hotels and our bars and our restaurants." It's a very clever marketing. I wish I'd thought of it.
Yeah, well, I don't know why they don't do it. Too friggin' greedy.
Oh,
Steve, I think.
we got Craig in the chat. Hello, Craig. I'm actually sobered up and caught a stream of gentlemen. Good day, all. Good day, Craig. We're talking about now and then, when you were a young man rather than now.
Are you insinuating that Craig's an old man?
No,
Yes, you are.
I wouldn't dream of it. Hold on, let me just find this one we're going to play now is a split screen, just of different things in Thailand. But no, it's not. We're doing Andy's one, aren't we? Hold on. I'm sorry, gentlemen. I got out of sync then. Let me find it.
This is narrated by the wonderful and handsome Andy Chitchat. Or Bangkok.
Clarky, shut up.
And about this is a real test for everybody watching. About 30 seconds into the video, there are 4 cars in a row.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, no, go for it. Go on. Because you got me going.
Andy and I have been talking today trying to work out what the cars were, and we cannot find out what they are. So if you know definitely what these 4 cars are, you can tell what they are. They're very sort of 1960s, 70s English looking cars.
Plus, may I add,
if you know what they are,
I think they're
the miners
holding.
of motorbikes. The miners of motorbikes. The lack of
I think they're
motorbikes.
holding.
oh yeah.
They're
Well, you
holding.
shouldn't have told them that, Andy. That is just ridiculous. There's no motorbikes. Anyway,
Well, we have an answer for that. So, all right.
okay, off we go.
Thailand, now and then. Back in the day, Dong Mueang Airport was the only international airport in Thailand. Notice the men and their hats. Pretty cool. You can notice the lack of traffic and the vehicles that were on the road. Wow, what an era. Also notice with the traffic the lack of motorbikes. Now it's hard to see from this footage how blue that sea must be, and also unpolluted. Those were the days. But of course things don't change over time when temples are concerned. Still looking like they do today. Also back in the day, Thailand was pretty fashion conscious. Remember hot pants?
Now, those hairstyles definitely show it was quite many years ago. But still looking good, especially with the miniskirts. I think you have to remember that these weren't sort of photos just taken randomly. They were like portrait photos, but look nice, don't they? Also, of course, really, the Thai national dress hasn't changed back then, and you can still see today. And if you're observant, you'll see, of course, the Thai Bangkok Bank. I do believe that is Pattaya and the walking street. Still see tailors and gem shops, and looks like they've had a bit of rain. But the road, well, leaves less to be desired. So back in the day, Pattaya, Bangkok has changed considerably. Look at the cars, look at the roads, well, look at the lack of traffic as well. And of course, the fashion at the time. Those were nice times. I wonder how much a beer was. We'll have to discuss that on the channel.
Oh, it's amazing looking back.
That was
at all
brilliant. Thank you, Andy. That was super. Andy and Stephen. Yeah, I confess I haven't watched all of it before, but that was really good.
I think
Nor have I.
I think that Rodney Stephen was some sort of French thing, isn't it?
Well,
The car.
it could be. They weren't. I thought they were Morrises or Austins, but I did some research. No, there's nothing looking like. And then I thought Fiat, Italian, but I don't know. Maybe something. But back. Don't forget that now and then. Let's stick to the subject. Then there was no manufacturers of vehicles, so everything was imported. And bikes back in the 60s were all imported, or their parts were, and they were assembled. So they were very expensive. So they weren't the vehicle for, people with lower incomes. Once they started manufacturing them here and bringing the price right down, we have what it is today.
Yeah. Oh, it was an amazing place back in the day, wasn't it? It must have been incredible.
What was the aircon like back in those days? Did they have aircon?
Oh no, I don't think they had them in them days, mate. With the cars,
It must have been bloody hot.
Oh yeah.
And they used to dress up. There's old pictures of Bangkok with people in you'd understand the hat thing, with trilby hats and dressed up to the nines, getting out of rickshaws and things. In 35.
A lot of Thai girls still do that, Annie. You notice if they go out, they always dress up and look appropriate. It's not like in Australia. I mean, in England, they put the tracksuit pants on and put the slippers on and go to the supermarket. The Thais will dress up. They've always been self-conscious, I think.
But imagine dressing up like they used to in the heat. That maybe if they had punkah wallahs in India, sort of what's the word? Cooling them down with poles with feathers on the end. But I always think about that, and I said it to my son about that, and he said, "Oh no, Dad, it wasn't as hot back in those days." Well, I did some research. It was. It was in the summer. It's still 35, 36.
But a lot of Thais, they're dying to wear a jumper or a coat, and it could be very hot, and they'll still put the coat on to look fashionable.
I know
a few people that suffer from that. They think 24 degrees is freezing. And it gives them the opportunity to wear Western fashion. I suppose. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it's. You reckon so now, Rick? Yeah, so interesting. Yeah, there we go.
I have a few topics about now and then, if I can find them, that just sprung to mind. One of them was the ring roads, the motorways and everything else. I mean, we got a video. I don't know if we'll show it because it's got no sound or narration, but
in 1965, the British did something from the northeast to Bangkok, but I think that was like the Vietnam War effort, but whatever. But what's his name? The nice prime minister. I forget what his name is now, but never mind. Once the ring road started, it sort of eased the traffic a lot. I mean, outside of rush hours, I can go from my house, which is 25 Ks out of the center of Bangkok. I can get to right down by the river in 25 minutes during the day using the tollways. And I mean, that was never there back in the day, never there. And then, of course, the BTS.
Yeah. Is it true that the BTS, Andy, was built by the Japanese?
No, it was built by Thai investors, I think. Don't hold me on that one.
I heard a little rumor that the Japanese built the BTS, the overhead one I'm talking about, because of not the BTS. No, the ring roads. I think they did. They built the ring road for compensation for World War II.
Well, a lot of that. That's why we've got like the Thai-Belgian bridges going over intersections. One's a Thai-Belgian bridge. That's right by the Dusatani Hotel. But BTS, the Thais call it Rot Phai Phar.
Rot Phai
Phar. That's the BTS. But I mean, I went on the inaugural BTS one when I was. Never mind about that. But I went on the first ride.
Very young,
and all that. Yeah, but all the press were saying this will never catch on. People can't walk up those 3 flights of stairs. I tell you, it was like computers will never take on by whoever said that. This is the same as the BTS. It will never ever work. My God, if you take in the BTS, there's hardly room to sit down in rush hour for sure.
I honestly think, Andy, Bangkok's got the most wonderful transport.
Yeah,
it really is, and their roads are fairly friggin' good.
Well, how do I get downtown if I want to take the BTS? I will take a motor. I can walk to the station, which takes me about 15 minutes. Nice walk. Or I can take a motorcycle taxi for 30 baht, which is like 50 meters from my house. I get to the BTS and it will cost me to go to Silom or Phetchaburi or Sukhumvit 65 baht.
I don't get on motorbikes, Andy, because they charge me for extra luggage.
But I normally walk back because it's a nice over the Klongs. It's quite a nice walk.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is 65 baht, and we're way out. There's like 18 stations, I think, between me and say Sukhumvit 33, Prompong or somewhere like that, and 65 baht. I mean, come on, that's not expensive, even for Thailand.
It works bloody well. The whole transport system is fantastic.
Well, I've lost it now with the pink line, the red line, the blue line, the green line. They give you a line. I said to Pom, my wife, I said to her, listen, where's the pink line? Well, she didn't know either. So it's not me just being a falang. There is a lot of lines now. They're going everywhere. You can go, they reckon they're going to go to a Utia at the end of the day. So, so you can travel from a Utia right south, past Bang Na, past, right down to, well, not Pattaya.
They need one, and they really do need one going to Pattaya.
Well, there's supposed to be they were working on a train or something. They were working on Hua Hin. There is a train.
A train goes down here, Andy, but it's not real good, I think. Doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does, doesn't it? I think so. I think there's a train goes down to Pattaya.
I don't know. I know there's I think there is. It takes like 4 hours or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I know, and you're traveling like cattle class,
Yeah. But it'll be a wonderful, wonderful journey for me, Thailand, and
Well, I think for people that come here now that have not known it from before, still get that difference of culture. I think it's still there, right? I think so.
Yeah. It is. It's wonderful getting off the plane and the smell. In my country.
Yeah, my dad used to call Thailand the land of smells.
Sorry?
My dad used to call Thailand the land of smells, which is true. You can walk down the soil and you get a lovely smell, a not so nice smell, god awful smell, nice smell. You know what I mean? It's like it's a smelling place. You know. Anyway, we done on this subject.
Yeah, you can move on if you want. What would you
Oh
like
no,
to
I've
talk
got
about now?
hang on. I've got a few another. I'm
All right.
roads will bring you new life to it. Oh no, that's about it, really. Well, taxes, of course, and there was back in the day there was no motorcycle taxes.
No. No.
I don't know what
Have you talked about the motorbikes? Yeah, and I've just been away fighting the dogs. Have you been? Have you?
I sort of mentioned it
mentioned
very briefly about they weren't made here in the 1960s, so they were really expensive, so they weren't a popular mode of transport. But
that was the most fascinating thing I found about it. That as early as 1985, there were no motorbikes. 1987, sorry, no motorbikes. It was all cars, all those sort of funny. I think they're Austin. I think they're British. I think
I think
cheap
they're
Austin.
Yeah, but they must have been imported. They couldn't have been made here, not back in the 50s.
Yeah.
60s.
And of course, Thailand has got the same left and right drive as we have, so it would have been relatively cheap to import. You know, there weren't that many countries that had the driving on the left-hand side of the road. So it just makes sense if it was an English car. If it was a Fiat, which could be.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, good point, Steve.
Could have been a Fiat, but it would have been, most of them would have been right-hand drive. No, left-hand drives. You know what I mean?
Right-hand drive.
Yeah. So interesting.
The other right.
One more bit, and then we'll do the other two videos, or at least one more video.
Oh, okay.
Well, you don't want any more? Okay, I'm going to show you anyway.
Hey, he's not going to listen. Steve's doing really well. He's given up smoking. So
That's fantastic.
I know, and he's struggling. But good for him, right? You know, it's not easy. Not easy. No.
Well, it's not easy when you're paying $2 or $3 for a packet.
Well, in England, it's like 15, 16, 17 pounds a packet or something.
No, same here, mate. I paid, I bet about 35, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's an encouragement to give up, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's about 800 baht. Yeah. It's a terrible thing. But you got to
understand. Rick has just said the BTS opened in Bangkok December 1999. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's when I was on the
very
radio.
Recent,
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's relatively, but I love
I can remember the first time I drove a hired car. I took the, what's it called, the 7 route, I guess, or the 9, 7 route, the motorway. It was empty, Andy. That would have been about 2002. The road was empty. I had to pick up. Now you go on the road, it's packed all the way. I mean, when I went on that road, it was like, you know, when we went down to John GM, and the bit from Pattaya to John GM was nothing on the road. The Route 7, the highway, used to be exactly the same. Nothing on it.
Oh, really?
The changes in Thailand.
You know, guys, I don't understand why they let these big 4-wheel drives in the city. They should be taxing the shit out of them, which discourages them from coming in. In Paris, I believe you're not allowed to bring big cars into the city. Is that correct? I don't know. And you know, if you're not bringing in, you have to pay big taxes. They should do that in Thailand. I'm not picking on your car there.
No, I don't agree. I don't like congestion charges or anything like that.
Huh?
No, well, hang on. That reminds me of when unleaded petrol was introduced to Thailand. There was a bit of a campaign about catalytic converters and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And most of the new cars, especially Japanese, had them anyway. So there we go. It happened overnight. One night you could get it, the next day you couldn't. In England, it took them 18 months to because they were worried about public opinion. Thailand just did it. All right, no more unleaded petrol. That's it. You know.
Yeah.
So I was quite impressed.
That's what Thailand's like, though, Andy. They get things done. It's not like us. We've got to have the union here. We've got to have the breaks. We've got to have this, blah, 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 blah. And,
Good point.
nothing gets done.
Well, we're almost. I don't want to get into politics because I hate politics, but it's like democracy is fine, but sometimes you need one man up there calling the shots, and as long as he's the right guy. Now, if he's the wrong guy, you got the Gaddafis, the Husseins, and everything else, and it's like a shit show. But if you got the right guy, and Kun Anand, he started all the ring roads, and he was in the national peacekeeping force after the coup, and they just put him up there for like a year, and then everyone wanted him as prime minister. He said, "No, I don't want that. No." And he's a very educated man, but he put in all the infrastructure for these ring roads. I don't know what year it was, but yes, he's responsible, and bless him, because we get the benefit from it now, So yeah, big up to him.
I really do think, Andy, that Bangkok has to expand out. It has to get out of the center of it. It's just too crowded.
Well, it is though. When I moved to Laxi, it was green fields all around our little area of houses. It was like green fields, traffic lights on Vipawadi and all that business. But now you can't even tell if you're in town or out of town. And you can go all the way to Rangsit. In fact, if you travel to Ayutthaya, you have to go like 45 minutes on the train out before you actually get to a few green fields. So it is expanding because of the transport. People can live there cheaper and come into town.
Yeah. That's the way to go. But
Andy, you think I'm 60 miles away from you, and yet it takes me an hour and 20 minutes to get to where you are.
How many kilometers are you away from me, or miles, or
is it 60 miles or 60 kilometers? I don't know.
I don't. Well, is that good or bad? Is that good?
I think it's good. Yeah, I think Stephen said Bangkok should expand. I think it already has done. I think it will get quicker and quicker. There's the reason my little city is getting more affluent is because there's lots of people here that work in Bangkok. They get the income working in Bangkok, but they buy a 6-bedroomed house here or build a 6-bedroomed house here rather than live in a 2-bedroomed house in Bangkok and commute every morning. We have exactly
the same train there, Steve. Do you have a train going into Bangkok or anything like that?
No.
Driving.
The only train goes towards Chao Song Sao. And you can probably get to Pattaya. I don't know. I know it goes to Chao Song Sao. And trains in Thailand are pretty iffy. There's a couple of main routes, but nothing like, I don't know what Australia's like, but although we moan about the English train system, it's expensive, but it is pretty good. You can say, I'm at point A, I want to get to point R, can you get me there? And the trains will do it. Whereas in Thailand, that won't happen. I don't know what it's like in Australia, but in Thailand, you can't do that. You can get close to it, but close to it is 50 miles away.
Oh, look, Steve, the BTS is a dream, mate. I used to live in Bang Na, and you get on, within 10 minutes, I was in the centre of the city, and what did it cost? 20 bucks, 30 bucks. I can't remember what they paid.
Oh, yeah. But that's the same as London. I mean, London, the infrastructure in London is absolutely out of this world. You've got the buses, the overground trains, the underground trains, everything is beautiful. And in Bangkok, it's the same. But in England, you can go from Plymouth to wherever. Plymouth to Bradford, south to north, and you can get a couple. I would imagine probably only 2 changes on a train, maybe 3, to get from Plymouth, which is in the deep south of England, to Bradford, which is in the north central of England, and you can get a train to do that. You can't do that in most places in the world.
Well, how much is that going to cost you?
Oh, £200, I guess.
Can I ask you a question, Steve? Does it go through Polkington?
No, not allowed.
Ah, okay.
I don't know why.
Why do you have to wear a mask or something, Steve? Why?
Oh, contamination. Yeah, contamination.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, they're good. Everybody.
I actually think Thailand's road and rail transport setup is miles ahead of Australia.
Second to none,
Really?
mate. That's worldwide.
Wow.
They're fantastic. Your roads are good. Your transport's just out of control. It's just beautiful.
No, trains. I accept on the roads and whatever, but trains?
Not really.
Trains are pretty good, mate.
The trains do a bit of work, Steve.
If I want to get from where you live, Stephen, to where are we going? North, where Banana King lives, because I know that's north. How easy is that? I want to get a train from Tasmania, or let's say where Johnny lives.
Mate, I'd have to get if I didn't have a car, I'd have to get the bus, which is not real regular, into Burnie, then get another bus into Launceston, and catch a plane across to Tullamarine, change planes, go up near Adrian, and then probably get a taxi or whatever, or to Adrian's place. And it's a full day trip, really, for me.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to.
Johnny lives out in the sticks here. He has to get the train into the Tullamarine Airport, and I don't. I might take it over an hour to get to the airport. And our transport system's not real good at all. It's very very.
In England, the transport system is
everybody in Australia. Everybody in Australia has a car.
Yeah. In England, the transport system is really good, but it's just so expensive. It costs an absolute fortune, but it's there. I mean, we moan. It costs you £20 to get from Bangkok Airport to Pattaya. It cost me £20 to go for a 7-minute journey from my house in England to the bus station.
Oh, great!
7 minutes, maybe 8-minute journey costs the same as a 1.5 hour journey in Thailand. Yeah. That's why I love Thailand.
I don't think our transport's that expensive, but it's just not nowhere near transport Thailand's quality. Nowhere near it.
Here, when you're doing interstate transport, because the island's called Australia, but it's actually 7 different countries. There's different track widths, and all that kind of stuff. But like from Melbourne, they have the train that goes across to South Australia over to, and from there you can continue on to Western Australia, or you can go to Sydney, and then you can head up, up the east coast, different trains.
What's the cost like? What's the cost like? The cost.
Well, if I want to go to Melbourne, which is about 150 kilometres, it cost me $12.
Yeah.
Wow.
Australian. The prices are pretty good though, John, aren't they?
That is really good.
Pretty good and a pretty good service. Like as far as Thailand, last time I was over twice, I travelled to Nakhon City from Bangkok, and it was $300.
I can travel
400 and something kilometres.
Yeah, I go to Ayutthaya, which is like an hour's train journey, right? I can go one way, 20 baht, return 20 baht, about 40 baht. I mean, the seats aren't plush or anything like that. And sometimes if it's busy, you may have to stand or whatever. But I mean, well, no wonder the trains are in the state they are. I mean, they're not exactly, state-of-the-art trains in England.
I can tell you something about the carriages on that line. They were made by the Hyundai company in South Korea, in 1960 because I read the fucking label on one of them.
Okay, but hey, 20 baht, I can go to a Utia, it'd take me, a longer time to drive and the hassle,
Yeah.
and I end up in a Utia at this station, and then I get one of their little tuk-tuks and go into town and eat some food and all that, come back. So the travel's actually cost me 40 baht, with petrol.
There's some nice eateries in UTO, and I tell you what, one hotel I stayed at, which was by default, but it would be a hotel I'd stay again. It was a reproduction of the old Thai style, complete with the wooden door locks and all that kind of stuff. It was up one floor and had a big decking between the rooms and a tree growing up through all that. And geez, it was really, really good. It was just that it was nowhere near fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And they had a little bar type restaurant thing, and sacrilegious. They didn't sell Leo.
Oh,
They had that Chang crap and Singer.
Singer's okay, actually. I like to drink Singer if eating Thai food. I think it's okay, but as a standalone drink, there's only one drink, and that is
Leo. The thing is, I had to lower my standards and drink Singer, but I remember first time I went to Thailand, I thought, right, I'll try a Chang. I took a mouthful of it, firstly spat it straight out, and said, "What else you got?" And they said, "Well, we've got Singer and Leo." And I said, bring me a small one of each. The Singer, I had 2 mouthfuls and just sat it on the table. The Leo, I went, well, this is bloody good. I better bring me another one of them and take those other crap away. Yeah.
Well, as we're doing it now and then, we can talk beer for a while, because back in the early 80s, right, the beers we had there was only one draft beer, and it was bottled as well. It was a beer called Amaret. And that was everywhere. That's all you could drink. Right. And then there was, in the green bottles, Kloster beer, Singer, and I can't remember anymore. I mean, I saw the introduction of Carlsberg and everything else, but that was a lot later on. But back in 83, you go to a bar on Beach Road, you would be drinking Kloster or Singer or Amaret. That was it. That was your choices. That was it. And they were about a bottle of Kloster.
That's a point I'd forgotten, Andy. Carlsberg were quite big around 2000. And they got muscled out of it. How did that happen?
I don't know, because when
Carlsberg was crap.
Well, when Carlsberg were introduced, they when you bought from the brewery, if you had a bar, they'd bring in a whole cooling system, right, to make it the coldest beer on draft that you had. I remember because I got my head on it one night on the opening of it. So they made a big thing about ice cold, and it was, and the whole the thing you have on the bar, the logo and all that, it was all frosted. Yeah. It made it look like it was ice, and it was cold. Right. So they used to put all that in to everyone that bought their beer, I guess, on semi bulk, but whatever. But now that's all gone. I mean, I hate Carlsberg. And I drank
the most popular beer in Thailand, guys, is Singer. I don't know
yes.
San Miguel.
It's an
don't know why.
I'm reading the list out now. I won't say I know this. The other one's Asahi beer. That's Japanese, isn't it?
Asahi, yeah. And I like Asahi. I like it.
Leo's number 5. You got Chang beer.
Well, you know who owns Leo, right?
Yeah, the same mob that own the other 2.
Singer, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Singer.
Yeah, they own Chang as well.
Yeah. Chang's too sweet for me. too sweet.
Chang's the problem with Chang is it comes in a bottle, and if you leave it out, the sun will go off. Well, have you ever had an off beer? And plus, they to keep it nice and fresh and snapping fresh, they put formaldehyde in it.
Oh yeah,
And you know, formaldehyde, they put it in dead bodies to make them to let them preserve a bit longer so they don't rot.
they pickle it basically. But
Yeah, well, yeah.
oh yeah,
But there's no one of the. Well, you've tried tiger beer, John. That's not too bad.
tiger.
Tiger's Indonesian, isn't it?
No, it's Thai. It's everything's owned by fucking.
Yeah, but tiger. I thought tiger was originated from.
Oh no! I'm wrong there. I don't know who owns Tiger.
I think it's from Singapore or it's an Asian
No,
beer.
It's owned by South
Tiger's
Asian breweries.
The what?
I know that. South Asian breweries.
Yeah, that's Indonesian.
Singapore. Singapore, John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
I'm using Google.
barley was Bintang. That was shit too, but anyhow, it was better than.
Oh yeah. And they have a shit beer in Vietnam as well. The 3-star one has got 3 red stars on it. Obviously,
I'll send you this link here, John. It's got all the write-ups on all the beers in Thailand. You might want to sort of print it out and take it with you when you go overseas.
But Gloucester beer back in the day was the beer to drink. It was.
Gentlemen, I think we're spoiling a brilliant subject here. We should have come up with this.
Yeah.
There's so many experiences of beer we've had. I mean, Rick's talking about beer that he's had in England, and it reminded me of Newcastle Brown Ale.
Oh, I love Newcastle.
It was so good. And all your grandparents drank something called stout. Or pale ale.
Mackesons.
Mackinson, yeah. Baby Sham.
Oh, dear.
Look,
Stop
gentlemen, I think we have to stop now, and we have this as our next topic. It's just too good. But is it? Oh, look. Maybe we can do it now. I'm just thinking, it's such a good subject.
Well, what would be the topic? Beers around the world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think we can all do them. I can do a few from around the world. I don't know.
I like Estrada.
I can do Caribbean. I can do. Stephen can do Ukraine, Russian.
Yeah, good beer. Yeah. No,
Tasmanian beer. Tasmanian beer. They're different to Victorian beers.
Yeah.
Johnny, you put up on our group the other day about who drinks the most, right?
Yeah,
it did go on a bit long, and I missed England. Where was England?
Oh, I don't remember.
They were in the top 20. But look, that was a weird thing because it didn't say how much they were drinking.
Or how, was it a week?
That was the thing.
You had that question.
Yeah,
I think it was
your question was the same as mine, Steve. It didn't really say it was per day, per week, per month, or per year.
If you remember, Johnny, you had that question on your trivial game about 12 months ago. Which country drank the most beer?
Yeah, I knew that.
I'm fairly sure it was Czechoslovakia.
Oh, that one I sent you today was a new one, but
and it's just alcohol. I mean, that's a weird thing to say.
But Australia,
and the winner, the winner was funny, wasn't it?
Well, on that island, you've got nothing more to do than drink grog and have sex, and the Australian government picks up the tab because they don't want Chinese to take it over.
But if you drink too much beer, you can't have
the population there, Johnny. What's the population? What's the population of the Cook Islands?
Not a hell of a lot. I'm not sure. Not a hell of a lot.
I think so.
Where is it, the Cook Island?
It's like a big city then. It's like, yeah.
Wasn't that where they had mutiny on the Bounty? Is that right, John?
Nah, that was Pitcairn Island.
Same thing.
Oh, wasn't Cook the explorer guy?
No, yeah, but Cook was the pommy one that invaded places and then got a smack in the head in Tahiti.
He was eaten in Tahiti.
Yeah, well, that's called long white pig.
He's all right, Captain Cook. I went to his. Do you know they got his home from England and put it in Melbourne? The whole home they moved it across.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
Cook's
whole-
Cottage.
Yeah, Cook's Cottage. Yeah.
Is it time for a little video? I've got one lined up
Yeah,
here.
go on.
But
We'll play it.
well, hang on. You know,
Still
people
shaking the
talk
tree,
about
boss.
how Phalang. There's a lot of Phalangs misbehaving in Pattaya videos out. I don't know if you've seen them,
Okay.
but I've seen quite a
Oh,
lot.
there's a million of them, Andy. There's a million
I
of them.
know, it shocked me, man. When I was
And most
looking,
of it, the whole part about it, if you really looked at them, the majority of them are British, by the way. Just casually noticed that. Not that I'm having a shot at the British, but I just casually noticed that.
You're right, Johnny. You're right.
yeah, no, you're right. Hey, so when a Phalang makes a good impression, for me, I love it when foreigners, tourists, or whatever do their country proud, because you know Thais remember all this. So here's this thing.
By cash. I'm really embarrassed to tell you. I've only got 50,000 on me.
50,000.
Yeah.
Wait a moment. Yeah. Little bit money is okay for you. 20,000. 20.
Is that out of your own money? Is that out of your own money?
Yeah.
This
it's
your
okay.
money?
It's okay for you.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
What was your name?
Are you?
I just want to say the service here has been some of the best service ever.
Thank you very much.
How much do you earn a day here?
30 and 40,000 in one day.
The truth is, I don't actually need your help. I actually have my wallet on me. I actually have 3 million for a tip for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Real?
This is real. Your service, you come in here with a bigger smile and you work so hard for your job and what you do.
Thank you very much.
Of
I
course.
appreciate it. This is too much. Thank you very much.
I give you a hug. Bless you.
This is my big tip for my life. This is my first time.
First tip ever.
First tip ever. I'll never forget. Sam.
Okay, the cynic side of me would say,
They make a bloody heart melt when you see things like that, you know.
Yeah, I'm controversial on this, Andy. I don't like it at all. I think it's horrible. If he's going to do that, do it without streaming it. Just give her the money. Don't put it out online to make money from it. It's horrible.
do you think it was a setup?
I don't think he was making money out of it, Steve. But you know, I thought it was fantastic. You know, it seems like that. A lot more people would do that.
I hate that sort of thing, Stephen.
Yeah, okay.
Look, maybe I'm
just-
misunderstanding it, but I think it's rather like people give to charity to make themselves feel better. You should give to charity just to give to charity, not to make your life better or to give you better life hereafter.
Yeah, I don't think.
What are you doing over there? What is my God, Andy?
What was that?
You got it? You turned off it? Okay. You got it?
Sadly, it's Mr. Perrin.
Go backstage if you need me, Steve. Just pop backstage. Oh, Jesus.
I thought it was
That was
another.
all there.
I thought it was another tsunami.
No, I thought that was a lovely, uplifting film yourself.
No, I get it, and it does appeal to that. I'm just a little skeptic, as Steve said, that But she couldn't have been scripted because she wasn't that
Well,
articulate.
you
in
know,
English.
Eddie, there's a lot of evil in the world, but sometimes there's some good. You know.
I give it a thumbs up. Andy
So
approves.
Yeah. Is Steve, there's something wrong, mate? Okay. Steve, if you can hear me, restart your computer, mate.
Okay, I had to mute him. Not that I
Yeah,
don't
me
love
neither.
him, but my ears are just. Yeah, that's probably clears your ear infection, Steve.
Oh, yeah, I can see clean through them now. No, but there's a lot of I thought that was a lovely story, but you know, I would have streamed that sort of thing. You know, I would have done it live and show everybody there's some good in the world.
Well,
Okay,
that's a good point.
The thing is, Indonesian rupiah, which was the country, $100.
No, I think it was
is-
Thailand. I think it was Thailand.
That
John.
wasn't. It was
Yeah,
the flag come up of IDR.
Okay.
It wasn't Thailand.
It wasn't Thailand.
100 Australian dollars would give you 989.33 point, comma 33, 333.
What was the
In
currency
Indonesian
they were
rupiah.
working? What was the currency?
Indonesian rupiah.
3 million, which
Rupee.
means nothing. Right?
So that's $100 Australian would be close enough to $1 million.
Oh, okay.
So he gave her about $300 yeah.
No, that's 100 Australian dollars is 989,000.
Yes, but he gave her 3 million.
He gave her
Oh
$3
well,
million.
that in other words, he gave about $300. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a beautiful story. Anyway.
Oh look, I think that is good. The unfortunate
Do you have any
boss
videos
would
of
probably
big cats in microwaves or anything?
yeah, about $300.
Yeah, that's right. Do you know, I really thought it was Thai.
No, wrong flag, Stephen.
No. Was it? Oh, okay.
The 3 million Thai would be
So you restart the computer, mate. It's
You got a crook connection, Steve, or those thingos you want to throw at it.
I don't like muting anybody, but Steve's got a connection problem, I think. I don't know.
I don't think I know he has.
I'm just being all right. What?
But that's a very uplifting thing. I don't think I'd stream it, because that's kind of a look at me.
Yeah.
But
Content.
It was nice, and the girls' reaction and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I think it was nice, and it left me. You're right, Johnny. It left me uplifted and a faith that people can come as a tourist and act nicely instead of those.
Oh yeah,
bloody tourists. See.
How many times do we see all over the news? Drunken this did that and whatever, drunken that did that. Oh, also drunken Thais. That the one thing, and when you're looking at news and stuff like that, it becomes very daunting to try and find a story that's got the feel good about it.
No, I think that's good. Whether it was, I agree. I don't think it was fake, but even if it was, it served a very good positive purpose. Let's put it that way.
Well, maybe the bloke had if you go to the cynical part, maybe he had an ulterior motive. Who knows? But what come across on video was very uplifting. That was good.
Yeah. I agree. Never mind. Like, what was his name? Chris Travels. He did the same sort of thing, and he got one of those machines and flicked all the cash at the beggars down there in Pattaya.
I didn't see that.
Vegas.
Yeah. He streamed that.
Of course he did. Hoping he gets some donos to cover the money.
There's a subject, Phil.
I mean, what's the guy that did that? Did he leave his name or drop his
Chris's Travels
YouTube? No. The video we just
that one. Oh, I don't know.
Did he highlight his YouTube channel or anything?
No, I didn't see it.
He might not have been a YouTuber, right?
Yeah, well, Mr. Perrin, that's exactly like I said. I think the bloke had an alternative or ulterior motive.
Oh, maybe he did, John and Steve, but it wasn't a bad story, so it's okay. Anything else, Andy?
No, I think it was a crap story, Stephen. Never send anything like that again. I think it's hopeless. I think the guy was a scam. No,
Yeah,
I think it was good. It was uplifting.
Yes.
That's nice.
What else have we got, Andy? Got anything else?
I don't know. I think Stephen's fallen in his pond. Oh yeah, we got that one that following on from the earthquake.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Johnny can take over control of that one.
All right,
Well,
yeah. Johnny's the
whole time
construction expert here.
I do believe there was another earthquake.
Yes, it was, John.
4.1 just recently.
Yep.
On the rectum scale.
On the rectum
That was
scale,
in Burma, John. That was in Burma. Hang on, I think it was more than 4.1.
Well,
Today.
around the fours or whatever. But the thing is, that was felt in up around Chiang Mai as well. But the epicenter was still about the same.
Okay.
Okay, let's have a look at this.
Thailand's industry ministry is quoted in Thai media as stating that in the past, 7 steel factories supplying the construction industry were closed down due to their not meeting standards required, and that 3 more are currently being investigated. This is a major investigation is underway into the steel used in the construction of the now collapsed government building in the capital, which fell whilst under construction during the recent earthquake. One of those factories closed in nearby Rayong. Xin Ki Yuan Steel is being now checked to see whether its output reached the capital. Testing on steel from the site has seen reports of a failure to comply with building regulations in some instances, and the construction company as a whole is being investigated too. This as there have been no reports of any rescue of any of those who were buried during the collapse. The construction group itself issued a statement denying any irregularity in building standards, citing supply from approved manufacturers and rigorous quality checks. Reports from the capital indicate that some 34 high-rise buildings have been declared currently uninhabitable by authorities. The Department of Public Works tells us that earthquake damage is limited to those buildings, seeing 3,130 similar or larger buildings pass muster. A further 200 are said to have seen what is described as moderate but acceptable damage, assumed not to affect the integrity of the buildings and safe to be occupied.
Okay, actually, that was the wrong video. I have another update.
Yeah. Whack that on and we'll let Johnny take the lead. He knows what he's talking
Prime
about.
Minister of Thailand will expedite the issuing of arrest warrants for those involved in the collapse of the new state audit office building, once sufficient evidence is found. As of Friday, the collapse had claimed 44 lives, injured 9, and left 50 occupants still unaccounted for as search efforts continue. So nearly 100 people dies in the collapse. The Prime Minister on Friday convened a meeting to receive updates on the investigation with National Police Chief and Department of Special Investigation among those in attendance. Following the meeting, the Prime Minister said they would inspect construction material standards, as it has the authority to cancel contracts. The Prime Minister said the DSI is investigating possible violations involving substandard steel, poor concrete quality, and the lack of steel reinforcement in the lift shaft. Regarding legal proceedings, she confirmed that arrest warrants will be issued as soon as authorities have sufficient evidence. She said she has also the police to find those responsible. It's impossible that no one is at fault. We already know that there are clearly certain areas where things went wrong, unlike in other buildings. It's obvious, said the Prime Minister.
Wow, isn't that reminiscent of 9/11, the way that tower fell?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Well, the thing is, you know, when we actually kind of streamed some of this bloody near as it was some of it was happening, and my comments then was the concrete was crap, because concrete doesn't go into basically the gravel and what we saw, and it doesn't matter how far you drop it, it'll chunk. But there were some beams that came down pretty well, you know, as a whole. They'd sheared, so that tells you it's not the reinforcing, it's the amount of reinforcing at the joint.
So the rebars were like okay quality.
Look, without rebars, usually made out of recycled steel. It's made out of crap. But it's got to have a textile strength, like a shear strength, which is not necessarily all that high. But when you do rebar in a beam, the size of it and the amount of it will add the strength. But the concrete itself is actually, when it's all put together, gives you the textile strength of everything. And that concrete, to me, was inferior with that, because the whole building, there was no one part of it that was superior to others. It just fell like a deck of cards. So that tells me that the construction was shoddy. The design was crap. Now, mind you, that was a Thai government building, and I believe it was supposed to be the new house of the Thai Mint.
That's ironic, isn't it?
So they hired, this is the thing, they hired a Chinese company to build a government building. So I think the Prime Minister, I think the Prime Minister wants to have a look in the mirror while she's looking at everything else.
Oh, I don't think she would have anything to do with it, though, John. I don't think she would have had anything to do with that, but a different department. And we want to look at the department that actually gave that contract out. I mean, what you like you're saying? I mean, I think that's what you said. You know, you got a government building built by another government. I don't know. We putting the bugs in there and the you know.
Well, why wouldn't the government? Whatever they put in there, it didn't. Yeah. It's not. It's what they didn't put in there is the main reason. Because a friend of ours actually sent us a tape of that building coming down as it was coming down. Right, kind of. She online. It was kind of. Because she was a diagonally opposite, about a kilometre and a half away. When you got look at this, and the company she works for, they kind of said, "Oh, we come back to the office and do that." She's, "I'm not going back to the office ever again. If you want me to work for me, I work from home."
Well, the thing is, why would a government building employ Chinese labour instead of employing Thai labour?
cheap, Andy.
That's the thing,
Well, I
Andy.
know,
And if any of us start a business that has to be predominantly owned by Thai, and as far as a contract goes, any government contract, you have a specification of work, you have what materials you need to put in it, and all of that kind of thing, and you have your checks and balances and all that done. That building was what, 20 odd, 30 stories high.
Yeah. It wasn't a small bill. But my point is, like, you get Trump or you get the British government or European one saying buy French, buy English, buy American. And then you got Thai saying, no, we'll just get it built by foreigners. I mean, why aren't they so pro, let's go for Thailand, built by Thai, for Thai? Why? And you'll say because of the price, but
that's the perfect question, Andy. That is the question that the only one that can actually get the answers for that, if she's allowed to.
She won't be allowed to, John.
And this is the whole thing about it. Mind you, down in other regions, there's been buildings built by the same company, and they are undergoing very, very strategic analysations. Really, they should have done as the building was going up, looking at the construction on them.
Yep, you're exactly right, John. Yep,
Then again, if you've got crappy concrete, if it's supposed to be 25 MPa
look, John,
or 30 MPa,
I went up north, mate. They have their own concrete making plants. The Chinese have put them in, so it's Chinese concrete going into Thai buildings.
Well, the thing is, Stephen, a batch plant. You've got your aggregate, you've got your sand, and you've got your cement. It's a chemical reaction, and of course you've got your water, and everything's weight and measure.
Now, lime, isn't it? Lime or something like that, isn't it?
Well, lime's is there a certain percentage of lime in it?
Let me say, John, that this is up north when they're building the rail links, right? The rail links from China.
That project's been done.
It's all Chinese concrete. It's all they put plants in, and so I dare say they were doing the same in Bangkok, and the concrete wasn't up to scratch.
Well, the whole part about it is someone somewhere along the line has been shortcutting, and from what I could see, and I said that on the first day, the concrete was inferior. And if you play that earlier video, Andy, you can see the concrete falling apart and only a few bits coming down. And yes, the ghost building is still standing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've put on screen now quite a famous modern building, the Mahanakorn building. It's on screen now. Who built that?
That's ugly.
Yeah, I just know it's looking like the Jenga thing. But my point is that this is a private building built by private investment.
Yeah.
Is that safe, or is that going to fall down tomorrow?
You reckon it didn't fall down, but the whole part about it is it looked for every bit that's missing, there's a bit out the back to counteract the weight. It's all weights and measures.
I would not live in that.
I wouldn't class that as my address. It's an ugly building.
Yeah.
Where if the video, some of the videos come from the King Power building with the pool.
Yeah.
But the one part about it is that building with because it's an ultrasonic shock thing. It's not like cracking a whip or something of that nature. An earthquake.
I've got a black screen, Andy.
Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of it. Just give me a while.
Just get rid of it. Come on, It's okay.
The whole part about it is the contractors tried to cheap out. They killed people. They should be arrested.
Yeah.
And most of them would have run home. They would have been on the afternoon flight getting the hell out of Bangkok. I can tell you that now.
Yeah.
So the poor little Thai bloke that was an apprentice engineer, he's going to get arrested and hung for something somebody else done.
There was 6 Chinese company members were arrested for removing documents about the building. Yeah, that was yeah. What
You know,
do they want to do that for?
But as far as that goes, it was dodgy. I'm glad it fell down now. Yes, shame about the lives that were lost. But if it had been inhabited with all the people and all the rest of it, it would have been a greater loss of life.
Yeah. Oh, you're 100% correct. Anyway, we got anything else to talk about?
Nope.
Thailand.
Gentlemen, can I try my microphone one more time before I give up?
Oh, that sounds better. That sounds better. You've done it. You've done it.
Whatever you did it right. But
does it sound like Barry White?
No.
No, it
It
sounds
sounds
Steve
like
Perrin.
it sounds like Steve Perrin, like normal.
Rod Stewart. Van Morrison. I told you lately that I love you.
Steve, it sounds like Boss Hog out of the swamp,
That's pretty good. Boss Hog has a good voice. I mean, there's a guy I watched. I don't like watching him, but he's called he's into remote control cars. Nitro. Something else.
Nitro. Yeah.
No, not that Nitro. No.
He has a
Nitro
voice.
Freak.
It looks like his throat turned away with a blowtorch. Arr. Talk about pirate.
That's Nitro Freak.
Yeah. His voice, I can't even do it. I don't know what he's got in his throat that makes him sound like that. But it's
Actually,
he's nitroglycerine in his throat.
He's not a bad type of bloke. There was
Johnny, I'm not judging him as a character, but he's got a weird voice.
Oh, well, he
What's his name?
Nitro Freak. He first came in, he'd RC cars and all that kind of stuff, and there was
RC stands for remote control, Andy.
Yeah, there was one bloke that was interested in Thailand. A bit of a retard. He tried to take over his channel and tell him what to do, and he told him to go fuck himself. So that gave him a lot of points with a lot of us, and I actually dropped past him and say hello on a very regular bloody basis. He's not a bad bloke, actually. And as far as conversation, he'll talk about anything and everything. It's not only just RC cars, and they run on nitro fuel and different ones and whatever. If you go onto his stream and have a talk to him, as an honest person or whatever, he'll talk about anything with you. He's a good bloke in my book.
I think he's been on our channel once.
Yeah, he's been over. He's been over a few times in the past.
Don't misunderstand me, Johnny. I agree with you 100% that he stood up to the cunts and said, "No, I'm not playing part of it." So I give him that credit, no question.
Yeah,
but his voice, I don't know where his voice comes from. I've never heard a voice like that in my life before.
A bit gravelly.
It's so grab. I mean, he should earn a fortune doing voiceovers for cartoons for Disney World. I mean, what a villain or a hard man or whatever. It's just a ridiculous voice he has.
Well, I just thought, what was it, BB King? They called he had a gravelly voice.
BB King, I don't know. He had big fat fingers and he played a beautiful guitar. I don't know how he ever did it. I've got slim fingers.
And now,
can't play guitar to save my life.
to a cinema
You watch
near
BB
you.
King play guitar. It's just incredible what he does with fingers like sausages. Ridiculous.
Well, it's easy to hit a string. It's easy to hit a string. Go on, Andy. Sorry.
No, I was just saying with him, I've actually held his guitar, Lucille, one of my biggest claims to fame.
Andy,
Andy,
where was his sausage fingers?
I wish we had camera phones back in those days, man. I'd have a beautiful library. Freaking hell, man. God, yeah.
I went and seen him at in Melbourne concert with U2. Oh, it was fantastic.
BB King.
Yeah, BB King. Yeah, he was on the
wow.
Yeah, we were doing an interview with him and had the guitar behind him on a stand and all that.
Yeah.
And I was talking blah, blah, blah. And then we got to the Lucille guitar. I said, yeah, that's it. I said, oh, that's lovely. Would you like to hold it? And I was so shit scared. Do you know how much it's worth? It's worth.
Yeah. They
and
actually
he made me pick it up.
They actually made a guitar for him, which was sold worldwide for BB King. Yeah.
But this was like his guitar. And I wish I had the footage of that because that's a memorable moment.
I think it was Epiphone. I think I'm sure. I can't remember.
People can.
Stephen, I'm sure you've seen the same documentaries I have about BB King. He never thought about the guitar at all, did he? He just played it.
Plays it.
Had no idea what notes he was playing, what chords they were, whatever. It was just, this is how I do it.
Good to him.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
A lot of players don't know, can't read music, don't whatever. They just, this is the way I think it should sound.
Yeah.
Their guitars is like an extra limb to their body, right? You know what I mean? Like their brain work. It's not your left and your right and your legs and everything. It's like this is like an appendage of my mind and my skill and my talent. And these guys,
have a look at the Rattle and Hum album by U2. He sings "When Love Comes to Town." It's bloody fantastic.
Oh, really?
Really good version. Yeah.
Sadly, I can't play it right now.
Yeah, it's okay.
U2.
Thank you.
Yeah, U2. Yeah.
Me three.
Oh, Johnny, you hate U2. They all ought to be fucked in the ass. Yes, I know.
What did you say,
U2 Sorry. U2, you're talking about Bono.
Yeah. I love them.
I don't like the fact that they're really Christian.
Well, what's wrong with that?
No, I don't like it.
Everybody
I want rock and roll to be anti-Christian. I want the rock and roll to be crazy. Talking about sex and drugs and rock and roll. Not talking about under the Joshua tree.
Speaking of picking up guitars.
I don't want under the fucking Joshua tree. I want sex and drugs and rock and roll.
So hang on, I got a question for Perrin. So you didn't believe his contribution to Live Aid?
Oh no, that was great. Absolutely out of this world great.
Yeah.
Bob Geldof.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Live Aid.
That wasn't Bono, was it? That was Geldof, wasn't it? Yeah. Fine.
Yeah, Bob Geldof did Live Aid. He had a failing career anyway. He did that, and he was all of a sudden he was a knight and all the way. Yeah,
actually, that's true.
I'll give him 10 out of 10 for organising it and all the rest of it, but he's still a shit singer.
Yeah, but he had a couple of songs that were really good.
I don't like Mondays.
I do agree with you. I don't know why he got so involved with Save the World, but
come on, who's going to say like Mark Knopfler has got a good voice? but the songs that he writes and the way he sings it, he ain't got a great voice.
He
Mark
is
Knopfler.
actually. That is one hell of a guitar player. Is Steve Knopfler? What's his name? Knopfler. whatever his
But
name
he's not. Yeah, but he's not. What I'm trying to say is he's not a traditional. Like he's not. I can't think of any. Aerosmith, who are the lead singer of that is, or he's not a Queen guy. What's his name? The Queen.
Elizabeth.
That was Freddie. The Queen was Freddie
Mercury.
Mercury.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny.
Okay.
I will actually give you a Y there.
I'll give you a quiz question, Johnny. A quiz question, Johnny, or anybody else on the panel. Fuck, I forgot we were still live. Quiz question. So we all know that it was Bob Geldof, part of Live Aid in, when was it, 80 something?
83, 84,
Anyway.
85. Or whatever.
Yeah. Who was the other man
Michael
that was
Jackson.
behind Live Aid?
Quincy
Live Aid,
Jones.
that
Quincy
was Bono.
Jones.
No,
That was
No.
Bono.
Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones.
no,
Yes, it
No.
was. Quincy Jones.
no, it wasn't. Wasn't.
Bono.
There you go.
No,
Who's the other black dude?
no, it wasn't. He wasn't black. He was white, Scottish.
Rod Stewart.
Oh, the faggot.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Stop
No,
it,
wasn't
John.
Rod.
I like
It
Rod
wasn't
Stewart.
Rod Stewart.
I was
Midge Ure.
joking.
It was Midge Ure.
Oh, Midge Ure.
It was Midge Ure
Who's
and
that?
Midge Ure, yeah.
Never heard of him.
Vienna.
Here we go.
Oh,
More.
come on.
We
You
want
know
more.
the song? Hold on, let me just play it in the background. Oh, fuck me. You must know Midge Ure.
No,
I know
No.
Midge Ure.
Never heard of him.
Well, there we go.
Fine.
You must listen.
Here we go.
to this.
Midge Ure
Okay.
in the background. Vienna.
All right. I've
You
got.
won't hear this, but
oh,
the
there you go.
band was called Ultravox.
Yes.
Oh, they were crap.
No, they
Go
weren't.
for it,
John.
John. Get on, mate.
Vienna was a great song. But the important thing is about this conversation is it was Midge Ure and Bob Geldof that wrote the song for Save the World, whatever it's called.
That's a guy out of Star Wars.
Yeah,
Darth
that's
Vader.
Quincy Jones.
Was heavily involved with Live Aid, specifically through his work
Yeah.
on the song "We Are the World." He co-produced the song with Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson, and it was major part of the song.
Yeah, but everybody
We
knows
Are the
Quincy
World.
Jones. That's
Oh,
the,
bless
you know
him.
the
No
whole
longer
part
with us.
about it is where it says there. You know, he's prior, but the Live Aid was Bob Geldof.
Yes, it was, and I got him muddled up with both.
Steve said, "Well, who did the other one?" I said, "Well, Bono did."
South.
That's where I got confused. Oh well, thank you, Johnny. You've dug me out twice now. Because I thought, what did Bono do? He didn't do Live Aid, right? But he did something else.
Yeah, he did. No, he did. He did Live Aid. He did great.
another type
He did
of
a
thing.
great
Live Aid
part
was
of the
over and
song.
done with Bob Geldof. And what was the blonde bimbo?
Blonde bimbo.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
all these
I'm just-
bimbos and stabbed in the face people you're talking about, Johnny. I've got pin-ups on the wall about it, and you leave the Beatles alone.
I hate the Beatles and your blonde bimbo.
Oh, stick pins
is-
in Dolly
is-
Parton's tits.
You're going to have to use a scraper to get that bloody thing off the wall.
Dolly Parton.
I actually, the ones I do like is the Play for Change.
Who?
Play for Change.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah, yeah. Bono. Okay, it says here. I just googled it. Right in July 1985, U2 performed at the Live Aid charity concert, which was organised by Geldof to benefit the Ethiopian famine. He and Bono later collaborated to organise the 20th anniversary live concert in 2005, of which U2 also performed. So yeah, he wasn't an organizer; he was a performer. So
Yeah. Right. All right, Mr.
Glad we
Perry,
got that.
you stand corrected. And as far as your Scottish singers, I'm on the way. The happiness and misery to be.
Brilliant song. Brilliant song.
I love that song.
Oh, I thought you might be
What
Ed Sheeran.
was the song called? I missed it.
I
Tell me
fucking
the
hate
song.
that song. I can't stand it. And those
I'll
boys
walk
have
a
been
million miles.
arrested and gone into Auschwitz.
Give me
in
the
Germany.
title. I missed it.
No, it's a great song, Joe.
What was the title of the song?
I'll walk a million miles, was it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I walk a million miles for one of your
No,
smiles.
no,
my
no,
man.
no. I mean, Al Johnson was so great. He used to do these concerts back in the 20s with no microphone, and people in the audience used to shout out, "Sing up, Al, we can't hear you."
Sing it loud, sing it low, sing it clear.
Oh dear. We're going to get onto Vera Lynn and the White Cliffs of Dover soon.
Oh, like
I
fucking
tell you
hell.
what,
we
Andy,
will.
I think, Andy, you'll appreciate this conversation I'm going into now. When I was 16, 17, all my mates who were much more mature into the music than I was, 16, 17, they loved Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I was much more into the Beatles, the Stones, didn't really like Led Zeppelin. I just think I was fucking immature, Andy.
No, you weren't silly.
I'm now listening to Led Zeppelin. How many years later? 50 years later. 50 odd years later.
And it's still crap.
Some of the songs of Led Zeppelin, I'd heard them before, but I was immature young man then. Now, I can't get them out of my head. Led Zeppelin, I was too immature.
Well, take
There
the
you go.
cotton wool out of your ears and let the air flow.
Did I tell you this story? South is saying I told you this story last week. He
you did,
could
mate.
be right. Did I? Fuck you. Fuck the train you came in on. Ding, ding. Fuck my memory. Fuck everything about this fucking thing. Oh, shit. Did I really say the same last week?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm embarrassed.
Exactly.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
I'm turning into my grandfather.
All right,
I
Steve.
know.
Steve, I'm going to hit you with a little bit of, your 1980s type of stuff. The Police, Aha, Toto, Tina Turner, Wham, Human Legend, Rick
Right.
Ashley.
Right.
Never
You
gonna
rem-
give you up. Diddle-diddle-diddle. Sorry.
You remember any of them, Steve?
Yes, of course I do. Every one of them. But that's not the point. Look, maybe it's because I'm so surprised that I like Led Zeppelin so much. And I'm pissed off because one of my favorite songs is Boogie with Stu. And I think of Stu
Yeah.
D. And that's horrible. It's a horrible thing to put a man through. But Boogie with Stu is fantastic. Traveling on a Foot is fantastic. And the latest one I'm just in love with is Fall in the Rain. The drums on Fall in the Rain are fantastic. But I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. It's just because as an old man, I'm surprised how ignorant I was when I was a young man. There you go.
I tell you what,
No,
as far
I
as
get that.
drums, Mick Fleetwood was pretty bloody good. But if Copperhead Road, if you listen to the drumming in Copperhead Road, that's fucking fantastic.
Right.
And to drum
Great song.
Copperhead
It's a great
Road,
title for a song.
but the whole thing about Copperhead Road, to drum that, you might start off in a coat because it's cold. You'll end up bloody bare skin and sweating because it's as far as a drummer goes. You were talking about drums.
Yeah.
Look, one of the greatest drummers was Keith Mood out of the Who. He drummed different to everybody
Oh,
else.
yeah.
Another one was the Led Zeppelin drummer. What was his name, Steve? Do you remember? Was it,
Bonham.
Bono?
Bonham.
Bono? I can't remember.
Bonham. Bonham.
Fucking
Bonham.
brilliant.
Bonham. John
Oh,
Bonham.
They're two the drummers that stick out. I mean, Ringo kept the beat, but I wouldn't say he was a great drummer out of the Beatles.
No, I don't think, Stephen, I don't think he need to be.
Yeah.
He just kept a great beat and wasn't a show off.
Yes.
He wasn't a show off at all. But I mean,
you-
what's the song? Dun, 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 dun.
But you look at Let It Be. Ringo did a great job of that, and
He did some super solos.
Ticket to Ride was brilliant drumming, and
Correct, South. Phil Collins was brilliant. Absolutely. Absolutely brilliant. Genesis.
John, let me tell you about Phil Collins. Right, he did the drumming with who was it? Led Zeppelin.
Genesis.
And they absolutely did the worst. It was exactly at one of those concert, Geldof concerts, and they did the worst. He did the worst drumming, and they said they actually killed their concert. That's Phil Collins for you.
Yeah, well, he started off as a drummer, then gone into lyrics, and actually became a singer. Well, I remember the first song I really took notice of Phil Collins was "Follow You, Follow Me." Fucking brilliant.
Okay. Yeah, he's put out some good stuff.
You know, with the voice range as well. You know, absolutely brilliant.
My daughter loved him. When my daughter was in hospital for 3 months, she absolutely loved Phil Collins. So I find it hard to say against him. His drumming was. I mean, that one song. What was the song? Was yeah, that is. It might not be that I'm not a drummer. I don't know. It might not be the best drumming in the world, but I think it's the best known drumming, isn't it? As soon as you hear it, you go, "That's it."
Well,
that's the song.
One of his best songs was "Another Day for You and Me in Paradise." I can't remember the name of it.
Another Day and Me in Paradise.
That is just a classic. Very well done.
I have two stories quickly. Another Day in Paradise, because I spent a couple of days with him, and over dinner we talked about it. Another Day in Paradise. He was doing a concert in London. I can't remember where it was, but whatever. And he said he parked his car 3 roads down, and walking to his car, he met a lady in the street selling flowers and everything else. And it inspired him. Because he says, "How much do I give her? Do I give her," he wasn't being egotistic, "do I give her £50, £100, a coin or whatever?" And he ended up giving her nothing. And with the In the Air Tonight, when he put that to he was on our label, right? So I know this. And they said to him, "It's a drum machine. You're a fucking drum. Ding, a drummer." And he said, "All right, I'll come back with something that's drums." And that's how that drum thing went. Yeah, da-dum, 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 da-dum. He said, "I'll teach him." Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. And that's from the horse's mouth. So I could be lying, of course, and everyone's going to go, "Oh, but that is,
and he put out some good stuff. But
he did.
I'm not a real big fan of his, but
you want to hear "If Leaving Me Is Easy"?
That's absolutely brilliant. That's one of my favorite songs.
But gentlemen,
if leaving me is easy, not a hit. If Leaving Me Is Easy, it's an album track from Face Value. That is a lovely track. Yeah. Saxophone and beautiful.
You know, what the point I want to make is record labels and shit like that. You want to talk about that.
All right, John, I want to make something very clear here.
Hang on, shut up and read your fucking
the Beatles alone, and I'll stop picking on your songs.
Hang on, just shut up and listen. You might learn something.
I want to apologise to all these people on this stream how you've been.
If you like the Beatles, you're a fuckwit. Fuck off. Righto. The whole part about it is.
Who gives a fucking shit if you like it? Listen,
drummer.
you keep working the fucking record player, you dickhead.
Oh, well, get fucked here. Stick it up your ass. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll do that. Finished? Oh, that was fucking ridiculous. Yeah, there you go.
Is that serious?
Yeah, he's left.
Come on, Johnny. I don't think Stephen was. I think Stephen was joking, wasn't he?
Yeah,
you were joking, weren't you, mate?
Yeah.
Come back, Johnny. It's been a good show, and we miss you.
Yeah. No.
The problem, look, I'm going to get into this racial thing. The problem with you Australians is it's so fucking tricky to work out whether you're being serious or joking. Andy and I'm sorry, Andy, I'm going to talk for you. I do apologize for talking for you, but I will. We have so much trouble working out what. Are you serious? Or I don't know whether English humor works with the Australian humor. We have no idea whether you're joking or being serious. When you put stuff in the chat or text or whatever, it's so tricky for us. And I think you just got hoisted by your own petard then, because Johnny thought you were being serious. I didn't think you were being serious at all. You were just having a bit of a joke with him.
It's like
He thought you were being.
It's like being hoisted by their own petard.
Yeah, that's what I said. That was my word. He was hoisted by his own petard, which is quite painful. I wouldn't. I'm on my worst enemy, but he was hoisted by his own petard, and now Johnny's gone. But
all right, whatever it is. I think that's the. I don't want to end on a negative here, but we've done the now and then sort of. There's so much more that you can talk about with now and then. Anybody coming to Thailand for the first time, you'll accept. I just hope that you'll find it different from other cultures that you've come from, which I think you will. So it's still pertaining its allure. It's just different from the old days. But then again, you can go back.
I don't know if it does. Because I spent so much time looking at old photos and everything else, Andy, I think it has changed. It now is roughly the same as anywhere else in the world.
Hang on, no.
I think it's now.
No. Sorry.
I think it's now. I'm going to say the word. I think Pattaya is now sorted.
Oh, it always was. Yeah,
no, I don't think it was.
No, I'm talking about. Shut up! Stop it! Sorry, not you. My dog. Oh man, he always barks when I'm talking. Oi!
No,
all I'm saying is that I think Bangkok for sure. It's keeping up with the Joneses. It's keeping up with any other capital city. Pattaya is just going down a route of what it's good at doing, and it does it pretty well. But the rest of Thailand, the Midlands, as I call them, and the North, I don't think the towns and cities have got a bit more modernized, but the rural areas, I don't think they've changed a lot.
Yeah, I can't really argue with that. I mean, I know, to be honest, Andy, even my city hasn't really changed.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Nakhon Nowhere, it's like as it was Nakhon Nowhere 30th. It hasn't changed.
I don't. When I first came here, it used to piss off my wife to be. In that we'd get girls going by on scooters, turning their heads to look at me. Tall, skinny Farang walking down the street in the Nakhon, New York.
Oh, you get all the looks, right?
Why they smile at you? I don't know. Why they look at you? I didn't do anything. That's all. I mean, I'm still welcomed here ridiculously, but there is about.
Right?
Say again.
You're more accepted, not as an oddity, but a part of the community. I reckon.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's still great though. I mean, as an old man in England, you're basically ignored, Andy. Yeah, you're just ignored. You're old.
Has been
the planet is for youngsters who have supercars and whatever, and the world has changed. There's no respect. Whereas in Thailand, even if you don't deserve the respect, you still get it.
But my point is that having lived in Bangkok longer than anywhere in Thailand. 95%. I've been to Chiang Mai, I've done all that, but I've lived here constantly. I am now. Back in the day, there was sort of people were double taking me when I walked down the street. Now it's so cosmopolitan. You're just another person on the street.
Yeah.
You know.
I still get a couple of double looks, but you're right. Yeah, it's changed so much in the last 20 years.
But that's Bangkok. But where you are, I don't think it's changed that much.
No, it has. It used to be. I got double looks wherever I went. Now, no, not so much. It's just I mean, let's face it. I'm a bit of an odd-looking character anyway. Skinny, tall. Looking a bit like my wife says I look like Popeye. And
well,
I do.
I'm not going to disagree with it.
No, my face looks a lot like Popeye, and she laughs so much. So yeah, and I can make myself look even more like Popeye.
Do we call your wife Olive Oil now? Then?
Oh. If she was that, Annie, just between me and you, because there's nobody else listening, if she was that thin, that would be good.
Oh man,
I'm gonna get trolled for this, don't I? Look, she's a very slender girl. She's a very slender girl, but she's not quite an Olive Oil.
What a name!
What a weird series that was. Yeah,
what a
olive
name
oil.
for a lady, olive oil. I mean, like before people knew what olive oil was.
And do you know that I saw a YouTube is brilliant. I saw a YouTube on Popeye. He was based on a real character.
You're kidding.
A real ex-Navy guy who worked as a bouncer.
The anchor tattoo on his biceps.
Anchor tattoo. He was ex-Navy. He'd actually been quite successful in, a bit of a hero, and worked as a bouncer in a, what do they call them? What do they call them? Sleaze easy? No, what's the word? Not easy sleaze. A bad bar. Speakeasy. He worked as a bouncer in one of what? Say that again.
A speakeasy.
Speakeasy, yeah. He worked in a speakeasy as a bouncer, and was getting into fights all the time. He lost his eye in a fight. That's why he had his Popeye. What a great story. And why didn't somebody tell that real story about him? That would have been super, rather than put Williams into a cartoon version of it. I bet the real story of Popeye would be fantastic.
Do you like spinach?
Ex-Navy. No, but that was the con, wasn't it? The spinach was just to get children after the war to eat good food.
Look at the screen.
Pardon?
Look at the screen.
Hold on, I haven't got the screen up. I'm listening to you on I don't even look at. Okay.
Well, what are you going to do? You going to end the stream or?
Well, if I end the stream, certain people will say, "Oh, Andy left." But I'm ready to go. But you can carry on if you want. No.
Well, actually, we've only got 3 people watching. Have we ended the stream already?
No, we haven't. We got 15 watching.
Have we?
No, I've got 3 here,
6.
Andy.
Well, hang on a sec. I have to update my YouTube here. Hang on. Oh, I don't give a shit anyway. But...
No, who cares? South.
No, 15.
Now, let's try and troll South for a second, because he spends all his fucking time trolling me.
South. We love South. We love. Oh, sorry.
Your humour is pretty poor at the best of times.
Oh.
You should look at what your mentor does. What's he called?
What?
What's the Canadian guy called? What's the Canadian guy called?
Well, there's like a few million of them. Which one?
No, the one that comes on, best mate of Oz.
Spoon.
Spoon.
Luke,
yeah.
Spoon.
Look, Spoon
I like
That's got
Spoon.
humour. Yeah, Spoon's got humour. He thinks about what he's saying. South, you just come up with random insults, random things in life. No coercion, nothing in them at all. You don't work on it. You don't do nothing. You gotta be better, mate. We're building up an act here, and you do fuck all. You're a lazy cunt. I wouldn't say it's because you lack intelligence. I think it's just you're a lazy cunt. You can't be asked. Whereas Spoon puts a bit of effort into it. You don't, mate. Look, I'm pushing a baby for fuck's sake. Yeah, all right.
Hey,
Point
South, what
taken.
are you doing? You're pushing a baby for fuck's sake. What are you giving birth?
No, look.
It's your maternity. South, you're
Stephen,
maternity.
that's a great answer.
Okay, guys, we're done.
Yeah, mate, I'm finished.
You can keep it going because I get criticised for closing the stream when I don't. I just leave, but I think it's time to. Unless you guys want to carry on, that's fine.
No, I'll get it. I'll finish.
Perrin?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm just going to get another beer. No, I'm going to carry on for another 5 or 10
Cool.
cool. I told my wife to come back at 7. She's now 41 minutes late. I'm only joking. I don't care. I actually told her to come back at 8. But no, I'm okay. I'm quite happy. But look, I think as soon as you go, the crowds will disappear. And
Well, it's not much of a many.
It's 9 people. What?
No, 15.
When I was selling stuff in the olden days, 9 people in the audience. Hey, I'm making money.
Okay, then, Mr. Clark, Mr. Perrin, good luck. Keep it going, and I'll see you on the next one, guys.
All right. See you, Andy.
Okay, Andy.
Clarky.
As always, it's been lovely to be part of the gang.
I thought the Thai talk was nice. It suited me anyway, but I don't know. Anybody else.
And I think that's one of the first ones we really had when we got into stories of what we did before. And the problem is it's so tricky to be honest on here because whenever you tell an honest story, there's always going to be bad things you tell in the story. Not bad, but, things you did wrong or you could have done better. And I don't know about you, Andy or Stephen, but I'm always shy. Well, do I really want to say to the world that I fucked up? Because we all do. But do I want to admit to it's a great story. It's so tricky.
I don't mind admitting any mistakes I made because when you admit them, you acknowledge that you've learned something,
No, that's what I was just going to say. That
Andy, Andy, you're 100% right. But I still shy away from it. I admit I haven't got the same. You are ridiculously honest. You tell everybody everything about what you've done in life. I totally admire it. And Stephen, you do the same.
Yeah.
I don't because I don't want to admit to the 17 killings I did when I was a young man. I didn't mean to.
You've grown out of that though, haven't you?
Yeah. I was a young man.
That's when he thought he was Popeye. Okay, mate. Keep off the spinach.
Okay.
Mr. Perrin, Mr. Clark, thank you very much. I'm leaving, but I'm not closing the stream for anybody listening. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Andy's just closed the stream. Fuck him. So, South, come on, George. We're struggling now because I'm still a bit drunk.
Oh, yeah?
Stephen isn't drunk. The link's at the top. We need new blood. And look, if you don't want to be part of it, it's okay. But I think if you don't join, if somebody doesn't join, Steve and I will get fairly
Oh no, I'm
bored with
taking off
each
too
other.
now, mate.
Say again?
I'm taking off too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Unless Steve, I'm Steve, unless Souths joins us for a conversation or anybody else.
All right, Stephen. Good
the-
night.
the,
Good night,
uh,
crowd.
All
See
right.
you, mate. See you.
Okay. All right. Hey, Phil, I know. What did I say? RX packs fuck up all the time. Don't understand that. Still live pairing? Nah, too much background noise. What? I've got background noise here. Hold on. I got background noise on my mic, have I? What? Really? I do have lots of air cons on and stuff here. So you could be right. I'm not doubting your word. Oh, okay, you have. Okay. That's fair enough. Yeah, I have that all the time, and I feel a bit embarrassed when I have to say to people, "I'd love to join, but there's so much noise going on here." No worries. I'll stay for a bit just in case the world changes. You came in a bit late, South, but be honest. You control us and be shit. Do you like the style of show we do, or do you think it's ridiculous? Not a good idea. Be honest. Oh, thanks, mate. That's about the nicest thing you've ever said in the probably 3 years I've known you. Maybe 2 or 3. South, it's not perfect, mate. But I enjoy it. I like trying to make it something a little bit different, a little bit interesting. There's so much competition. I watch so many things now, and I look at their videos. They're not videos, they're blogs more than videos. They're so professional. They're so good. You could have put them on BBC TV, main TV 20 years ago, and they'd be accepted. They're proper travel videos. Ridiculously good. And there's new people coming all the time. I'll be watching a guy called The Owl, and he reminds me of a boss I had 40 years ago that I hated. But he's really good at what he does. He does 2 or 3 videos a day. No, he does at least 1 video a day. And I don't like the guy, but I love the effort he's putting into it. It's fucking brilliant. There's another guy called what's he called? It's one of Andy's guys. Andy Seminos. And he does a food channel and whatever. People are putting so much effort into it. And I think that's what surprised Cheap Charlie. And that Cheap Charlie thought he could just carry on sort of doing random videos occasionally when he felt like it. And there's now 50, 100 people doing videos all the time. It's so funny. Patty Owl finish. You don't mean that. You mean he's quite, yeah. No, I did advise him. He said, what should I do? Should I stay in Thailand, work some of the time in England, or finish Thailand altogether? And I said, well, if you work in England, then you're not really retiring to Thailand or working in Thailand. You're making your world comfortable. But yeah, he's going back to England to earn some money. Very lucky if you can do that. I confess I did something very similar for many years, and I worked in England, then came back to Thailand. But it's not an ideal way of life, to my way of thinking. I did it only because I had to. If I could, I don't know if you saw South, his income. He did his income a week ago. He's earning £900 a month on YouTube already. And he only started it this year, Christmas this year, or Christmas last year, but you know what I mean. That is fucking amazing. He's getting £1,000. And I do, look, we know everybody bullshits on YouTube, but it did sound fairly genuine the way he said it. And he did give all the, I hate the word receipts, but he gave all the evidence of this is what I earned, this is what I got from AdSense, whatever. And he showed that he was earning 900 something a month. I think that is brilliant. Christ, when I was 40, because he's about 40, if I'd have earned £900 a month doing YouTube, I'd have been over the moon. Because I'd have worked out, and I'd done that in 3 months. I think, well, okay, I've got 9 months to go. I'm going to up that to £2,000 a month. That's it. I'm sorted. I can live in Pattaya. So I suppose because he's not saying that, we have to doubt whether he's actually earning that much. But don't you think, look, as a single man, I could live on £900 a month easily in Thailand. I take care of a village in the Con New York. Honestly, I take care of a village easily. Now, South, he could be lying, but I don't think he is. It comes across as quite genuine when he says he's earning 900 UK pounds a month. He's a single man. I could live easily on that. I'm not saying live like a king, but live pretty much like a king. Where are you in the world, Julia? Don't need to say. Shouldn't be too intrusive on your life, but I don't know, Julia. I really don't know. I mean, he was quite honest, and he said that he can't avoid drinking at night. Don't misunderstand me, Ginger. I'm judging him wrongly because I had a boss that I hated that was very similar. When I was 23, 24, spit an image of this guy. So I'm judging him badly. I do know that. I don't know, Julia. I don't know if realization hit him. I think he worked out that he's like a lot of people, that he has the self-restraint not to go out drinking every night till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I've only saw it. I think he went to meet. We're talking about Cheap Charlie Chombury. I think he met up with Colin I think, not really a fan. I think he's going after a bit of clout from whatever. And I don't like the fact that he's using CCCC. It's taking a piss too much. I don't know. Hold on, I got a plot. Oh, okay. At the stage. There we go.
How are
Hello,
you going,
Dan.
Steve?
Thanks for joining, mate. I'm doing well. Thanks for joining the small panel. How's it going?
All right, mate. All right. Yeah, sound. I haven't been on a panel for a while, so just chilling at the moment. So I just thought I'd join you.
Excellent.
That's all right.
I'm fairly drunk, Dan.
That's
so you can get away with whatever you want to do. You got a free channel. No worries, mate. Hold on.
I see you was discussing the owl, and I'd just been out. I caught a bit of the live stream earlier, and then had to go out, and just have a beer myself,
Right.
But yeah, back in the UK now, hello.
Okay. And so, well, we shouldn't really gossip about other people, but I've been honest. I only don't like him because, honestly, Dan, I have a boss, spitting image, who's a right cunt to me when I was a young man of 23, 24. And he reminds me of that man. And I shouldn't judge him on that. I know. And I've gone into his channel and I've only given him compliments.
Yeah.
But he reminds me so much of that guy.
I think he was, well, it's not the sort of thing I would have done personally. I wouldn't have done a couple of trips to Pattaya and then made the move out there, at that age.
He's still very young. He's still relatively young, isn't he?
He's what, 40?
Yeah. I don't think we know much about him. I would imagine he's been really successful in the UK. He's got that sort of look about him.
Yeah, I think he's worked hard. I think he's worked bloody hard. He's someone who comes across as he's if he's into something, he'll put 110% into it. And I think he's done that in his career and has been successful in retail, isn't it? I think he's come out of retail management.
Really?
Yeah, that's where he's come out of, retail management.
I missed that. Yeah. But yeah. And he's also said he could go straight back into a new contract. It's very unusual. I mean, I did it because I worked contract
for 2 weeks. You're there for the long term, and then realization.
I think he's probably quite good at whatever job he does. That's going to be his downfall. It'd be much better.
Am I still?
Sorry, Dan, I'm talking over you, mate. I apologise.
Comments.
Sal says he is trash. What are you talking about?
Steve, you still there, mate?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Yes, I'm still here. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. I think he went out there, and going to Pattaya for a couple of weeks to actually live in there is a totally different ball game.
Ooh.
You've got to be mentally strong. You've got to be active. You've got to have other things on your mind apart from the bars, the farang food, the eating the breakfasts, because you go, even though they're going, oh yeah, it's 169 baht breakfast, by the time you've put in your lunch and your dinner and a few beers, you're up to 1,000 baht a day, and it's not just that, you're eating unhealthily.
Yep.
You're paying for it, so you're already on, just just for your food, like, you're probably touching 1,000 baht a day. By the time you've been into 7-Eleven, you got yourself a few drinks, you've done this, you've done that, you've had a few beers, and then I don't think he really thought it through.
But most people don't, Dan.
No, well, that's it. You see, he's gone headfirst into it. Like, he's gone, I've got this condo now. I've got it on a 12-month lease. The best comment Ben Newton made the other day was, just rent daily or monthly. Don't go into something long term, like, you know.
Hmm.
Especially
Yeah.
like, two times, like, out to Pattaya. And let's face it, Pattaya is a resort. It's not it doesn't represent Thailand as a whole, does it? Like, a lot of
Huh?
these guys go
Huh?
out there and it's a resort and they think, yeah, I'm in Thailand. You're not in a representation of Thailand whatsoever, like, that.
Dan,
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And you've said it so well. You had no beer tonight, have you? You explained that so well, mate.
And
I've
that's,
had too much beer, but you explained it totally well. But it's almost like going to Disney World and say, I want to live in Disney World because I love it. I came here for a holiday last year. I love it. I've got lots of money. I love everything about it. And I want to stay here.
yeah, exactly. And
And
then yeah.
that's what they do.
Yeah.
And tell me something, look, I love Pattaya. I've got lots of good friends there.
Yeah.
I've got lots of bars where everybody, in the old way of Cheers, I go bars where everybody knows my name. And there's nothing better than walking down the road. Oh, Steve, come here. And it's so nice because in most places in the world, the people are just saying, no, go away. You're an old fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Go away.
And I
So,
know. Oh, sorry.
no, I'm finished.
No, I was just going to say, like, I spent a month down in Pratton Mac, and I think it was February. I spent the whole of February in Pratton Mac. I know exactly where he is. Me and the missus, like, and it's a fantastic area. It really is a fantastic area. And you can walk down there. You're walking into Jom Tien along the beach. Me and the missus was doing that,
Right.
up to Soy 7, cut across Soy 7, go to Rompo. You get some fantastic prawns up in Rompo Market, cooked fresh for you. The missus absolutely loved it. Like,
Yeah.
and but the problem is, like, what I think he's done is he's got involved. He hasn't been able to, like, get away from, like, that soy bacao party, and, like, if he'd have gone out there and said, right, I've got to discipline myself now, like, but it's very, very hard,
Oh, yeah.
very,
You got to
very
give him
hard.
credit. And he's admitted to it. The video I saw, he
Mm.
said, no, I can't do it. He said, I'm too weak-willed. He didn't actually say that words, but he said, I'm too weak. I love it so much. I'm drinking till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and waking up at noon.
Yeah.
I admire the guy for saying that. It's what many people do. At least he's saying, yeah, I can't live like that.
And
He's okay.
I think he's built up a lot of, he's got some good friends out there now. I think with Webby and that Welsh boy Webby and his crew, Franco, and all that, like, he's made some really good contacts out there, and
he has worked for it. I mean, the guy is really good at working for what he's found all these guys. He's worked out where they are.
Yeah. They've welcomed him.
No,
they're looking after him.
I'm surprised that he didn't just say, because he's really good at it. He should have said, no, I'm going to stay here. In 9 months' time, I'm going to get 3,000 viewers or £3,000 a month. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, look at like, say, flogging a dead horse.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't like Sean.
I don't like him, but I admire him, Dan.
Yeah.
I don't like him, but I admire him. He puts in effort.
Yeah.
He had
And
one
he's
video that went viral, and he took his chance on it. Good man.
You know, and he said before, like, he's earning probably about $2,500 a month off YouTube.
Right. Yeah.
Sean, I don't know how true it is, you know, because I'm not really into the figures, the financial side of it. But
That
he's
doesn't
pushing the
sound
videos
too
out.
much for me. I think it sounds reasonable. I think it sounds reasonable.
You know, you look at someone like Mashtag Brady. I don't know if you've ever watched Mashtag Brady, like, you know, when he was out in Thailand, like he was getting 500,000 views per video.
Right.
You know, that's earning big money. That is, like, you know, and he's absolutely smashing it. Like, he's a UK lad, and he started off doing food reviews in the UK. You could check him out. Mashtag Brady, his name is, like, you know, but he's absolutely loved worldwide. He can go to he's been traveling all over the world, but he did Thailand, and that's where he really exploded on YouTube during his Thailand vlogs, like, you know, and because he was a TikTok or whatever you call it, like, you know, he had like over 2 million people following him on TikTok, and now he's probably at 1 million on YouTube, like, you know. Well, that's a different league. There's very few people that actually get to that sort of level.
Yes.
You know,
I couldn't agree more, Dan. But I think if you get that opportunity, you have to go for it, hook, line, and sinker. I mean, I don't know whether to go on this subject or not because it's a bit controversial. I like Cheap Charlie. I think he's a decent guy.
Yeah, he's harmless.
But he
like, you know,
frustrates me so. He frustrates me so much because he's a likable character. He's a likable character that should be putting more work into it, more effort into it, and flying to. I mean, all the Ice Poseidon gang and.
But they're a bit of a. They're
all in Japan or South Korea.
Yeah.
And Cheap Charlie was there. But he hasn't got the bollocks to go and say, hello, I'm Cheap Charlie, because he's so afraid of being rejected. No, you've got to be if that's your living, it's rather like that. Oh,
yeah.
It so frustrates me. That, look, it's up to him. I'm not trying to tell him how to live it. But if he didn't care about money and came on next day and said, look, I've got enough money, I don't need to go and kowtow to Ice Poseidon and Chicken Andy or all these guys. Don't need to do that. Fine. But what he does, he comes on and says, well, I'm not earning any money. I don't know where to go. Nothing. And fuck you. Sorry, mate.
That's the difference with these guys. You know, those guys that are on kick, right? They're normal lads. Mashtag Brady. They're normal lads.
I don't know him.
You check him out after, like, just Google, put YouTube Mashtag Brady. He's a British lad, and you'll see, right? And these lads are a normal lads, like, you know. But with Charlie, like, no disrespect to Charlie, like, you know, but he I don't know if it's Asperger's. I don't know whether it's. Do you know what I mean? There's something that isn't. I'm not disrespecting him or anything like that. Well, I suppose I am a little bit, but there's something that's not quite the full ticket in his way of thinking. Like, he's a very clever lad, like, you know, but when he's walking around in circles and he goes, right, I'm going to go and get a coffee, and then within like 30 seconds, he's changed his mind and he's going to get a piece of chicken, and then he's changed his mind again and then goes for another walk around the block.
Yeah. And that's the problem, Dan. The big problem is he's likable.
Yeah, exactly. He's a nice lad.
People put up with him because he's so likable. If he put a bit of fucking effort into it and said, right, all the gang are in South Korea. And the worst thing about it, Dan, tell me to shut the fuck up. But he went to Hong Kong. I've never been to Hong Kong. Have you?
No, I haven't been to Hong Kong.
No. He went to Hong Kong and he went to an island
Yeah, I see
just,
it.
I'm guessing, south of Hong Kong. Dan, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they gave him
I see
they
these
gave him
vlogs.
an upgrade on the room, £50, $50 a night, and he had the curve you get in Pattaya, the curve of the beach in front of his hotel. We got. Let me think about this. I think we got maybe an hour and a half of streaming from that view. Then he got ill. Then he left Hong Kong. Then we saw nothing. I thought, fuck you.
Well, he went to South
Honestly,
Korea,
Dan,
didn't he? Did he go to South Korea after?
I don't think he. I don't know. I think he went home, to be honest. Oh, you're right, Dan. Yeah, he did.
He went
He
to South Korea.
Dan, that island looks so beautiful.
Oh yeah,
Never
it was
seen.
stunning.
I've
Some of the
never
back
seen
streets
anything
and all
so
that.
nice in my life. And
Yeah,
anyway,
like some of the
I
back
think you're right. I
alleyways and
think he
all
went
that.
to South Korea after that.
But he, like you say,
And
he's a
then he
sound
got
lad.
ill.
He's had a good upbringing. He's got a family that obviously are behind him and everything like that. He's a sound lad. He is a sound lad, But I think, you
Dan,
know,
he needs a boss. He needs a boss. He needs somebody to say, look, I want you to work for me 8 hours a day, and I'll get you £5,000 a day for working for me. Cheap Charlie is a lazy cunt. That's all he is.
well,
He
yeah,
has 3 weeks off. He has 3 weeks off. You imagine you're doing a job, Andy. Sorry, you're doing a job, Dan. You imagine you say to your boss, "Well, I'm just going to take the next 3 weeks off because I'm not feeling too well. I'll be back in 3 weeks'
yeah,
time." Is that all right, mate? Your boss
yeah.
will say, "No, fuck you, Dan. No, yeah, I want you here every day. I want you working." That's what pisses me off. Like, I'm going to shut up now, Dan.
No. I
Because
totally
I hope
agree.
you
Like,
know, I really like Cute Charlie. I think he's the most likable man on the internet. It frustrates me so much that he doesn't take advantage of his opportunities.
oh yeah, but he's not afraid to go anywhere. He's not. It was
No?
good that when he went down to Isan, it was good that he went down there and looked around there, and
Yeah. Dan, I agree. He's a good traveller. And we like him because he's a bit odd. And we
yeah,
like it when things go wrong. The reason Ice Poseidon is so popular is because he doesn't worry about things going wrong. And it's almost he's looking for content all the time. So if things go wrong, that's content. We don't want to see. Look, if I do a perfect video about Pattaya, Thailand, whatever, you'll look at it for about 3 seconds. If I do a video about Pattaya where it's all going horribly wrong and somebody beat me up and I'm bleeding on the streets of Pattaya, everybody's going to look at it. Yeah.
you'll get the hits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Ice Poseidon knows that he works on the basis of, and you can't get that sort of hit all the time, but you can get people arguing with each other. I mean, that's what all these cunts do on, I won't mention the names, but the short guy, the fat guy, and they all work on this basis of let's be horrible to them. They'll be horrible to us. That will get more views. They've got a point. I'm not saying they're wrong, but it's so horrible.
But you look at it now though, and the quality of some of these guys, in Pattaya that are vlogging, like, you know, is absolutely pants, like, you know. And I think Pattaya Owl was a bit of fresh air, someone new, a new face. He did something a bit different. You know, you look at him compared to Cheap Charlie Chombury. I don't know
Right.
if you ever watched him, Cheap Charlie Chombury.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Dan? I won't say too much before you give your opinion first.
He's a chav, isn't he? You know, I
Is
think he's,
chav a good word or a bad word?
well, chav to me is a chav, like, you know. I think he's probably got a bit of traveller in him. You know,
Uh,
you know, when he does his cooking streams,
I,
like, you
I,
know,
don't, I've only.
you look at the food he's cooking, you think, fucking hell, I wouldn't even feed that to fucking my worst enemy, like, you know.
I haven't seen that.
You
I'm
watched
talking.
it?
I'm
Oh,
talking like,
God,
I only
nice.
saw him when he joined Colin, John Jim Stream on the beach. That's the
Oh,
guy we're
God.
talking about. I've
Yeah,
not seen his speaking thing. I've not seen anything cooking thing.
yeah,
We
I
got
think,
people in the chat. I have to answer the people in the chat. Weekend roasts. That's a great name. Refreshing to hear civilized people talk. Well, thank you, Weekend Roast. Very kind of you to say that. The
it's 'cause we're
quality of
sober.
warriors. Yeah. That where you can tell that I'm almost crying here, Weekend Roast, because we don't usually get comments as nice as that. Thank you, sir.
No, we'll have to, you'll have to
Yeah,
screenshot that and put it up on the next.
yeah.
What's
But no, it's a
what's up?
lovely. Look, we try our best, and most of it is down to the fact that Dan joined the conversation. But thank you, sir. We do appreciate. And look, although we might sound like we're horrible people, we're not. We just chatting it's a virtual bar. Remember to chat as
What
if we were in
about
a virtual bar.
my next question to you? What about
Go on.
Songkran in Pattaya? Do you think it's been an absolutely disgrace for what's been going
Oh,
on,
Dan.
and the
I
videos
haven't
that are
been,
coming out of Soy Six of people fighting and
Dan. I haven't been to Song for 20 years.
no,
I
it
went
wouldn't
when
be
I was
something I
first
would.
here, 99, 2000. I went, and it's a boring story. I've told it before, but I was in the back of a bar, out of the way of the Songkran, because it's supposed to end when darkness comes, but it doesn't. And I was at the back of the bar, near to the TV, Soy 7, right at the back. And some guy came and poured a ice bucket of cold water on my back. And I reacted. I wasn't aggressive. I just reacted and put my elbow back to pull him away from me. The guy fell over and missed his head on the stool thing around the bar by about a quarter of an inch. He laid on the bar and laid on the floor, and they came and took him away. So I had no problem, but I just thought, fuck, Steve.
Yeah,
The guy could have died.
yeah, you could. Yeah, you could have killed
I'd
a
have
bloke
spent the
there.
rest of my life in jail.
Yeah,
So I don't go back again. That was the
no.
last time I was there. Last time.
Like I said, I just left the village. Like last week, I left the village. No, the week before I left the village. And I was in Buddy Ram with the missus. Like got her and her sister a couple of Songkran shirts for the Branahan, like, you know, for them to wear.
Oh yeah.
I say to the missus, like, have you been soaked? Have you been? No. In the village, the kids just play amongst themselves on the road out the front. We're in the centre of the village, and the kids just have a little laugh and a joke. It's nothing like what you see going on in Pattaya.
Oh,
Like, you know.
Dan, absolutely. I could not agree with you more. You watch the children in any village, any smaller city, and they're just having the same sort of fun that you and I would have when we were 6 or 7 or 8 year old. Yeah, look, Dan, if you spray me with your water pistol,
Bring
and it's a
out.
water pistol, like a 45 Magnum, you spray me with that.
Yeah,
I don't get a
exactly.
bucket of I don't get a
Yeah.
bucket of water and pour it over your head. That's what they do in
No, no,
Pattaya.
no. Yeah, exactly. Like, you bring out the grandma, you cleanse her off and show your respect to the grandma. You clean her feet or the grandfather,
Right?
it's nothing like
You,
how it's
you better
become,
hope
like,
this isn't recorded, Dan. You're cleaning your grandma. It's not sounding good. I'm
Well,
joking, mate.
that's what they do, isn't it? That's what it is. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
elder of the family comes out and they cleanse. You know, it's
That's
nothing
just
like
respect,
how
and
it's
it's so
become. Like,
lovely.
and I'm
And
wondering
it's
whether,
horrible that the Phalangs have taken it over.
yeah,
And don't
exactly.
misunderstand me, Dan. I have buddies, same age as me, that love the craziness of Pattaya, where everybody is shooting each other with dirty water from a water pistol. To me, it has no interest at all. I think it's fucking horrible. No interest in it at all. But I have mates that do it every year, but I have maybe 90% more mates that just leave Pattaya when this is on.
Yeah. Well,
Dan,
I
I'm going to go
just
and get another beer.
yeah, you
As
got
long
a
as you're
beer,
still
mate.
here for another 5 minutes, I'm going to get another beer, mate.
Yeah, definitely,
Stay with
mate.
me.
Definitely. Let me have a look at the comments or the chat or whatever it is. South, too many men in dresses. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could imagine South like you went to Gamnam and showed the respect and all that. I left the village now. When I left being you was getting a trickle of water basically, and this was like the bottom of the lake and fucking hell, South. It was fucking stinking. It was the water, and you think like they're down in Pattaya, fucking all that way. Even though I'm probably 600 kilometers away from Pattaya, it don't make no difference to me. Like it's like you got one extreme to another extreme, like where they're wasting all that resources, and then you're in the village, like, and they're turning off the water. Okay, you can pump water out the ground to fill your bins so you can have a bucket shower and all that sort of stuff, like but nevertheless, like I've it's almost like I personally believe the mayor of Pattaya needs to look back at this Songkran celebration, see what's gone out on social media, because those social media videos are just absolutely just on a loop at the moment with the fighting, the absolute stupidity that's going on there. Like it's something that I think he's got to like look at and realise it hasn't done Pattaya a very good. It doesn't put him in a very good like flavour, like because if you're trying to make a place an international destination of tourism, it's beyond me why you would want to fly halfway around the world, and that's another story, like But I don't think he's done himself any favours. I think the mayor of Pattaya needs to like say, right, okay, it was too much craziness this year. We need to like look at it. You guys down on soy 6 and soy 7 or wherever the main things wherever it was happening the most. You know, you need to calm it down next year, or you know, I mean, say they had
Dan,
Chinese
thanks for
driving along Beach Road with.
Dan, thanks for taking care of the panel so well, mate. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think they love the fact that people come here for craziness.
Yeah,
I wish you were right, but they love the craziness. The bars love how much people drink. And most people of my sort of age, even when I was 40, 45, we still left Pattaya when Songkran came. And you go somewhere else. So you either, a lot of people just use that for their visa run or get out of the country, Cambodia or Laos or whatever. But even if you don't do that, just to move up country. Because you're absolutely right. You said it earlier on, up country.
Yeah, it's totally
not
different.
too far away from Bangkok.
Yeah.
They still have a laugh. They still play with the guns, but they're not. Yeah.
Bangkok will have its only 3 days in Bangkok. And look at what they put on in Bangkok. You know, you've got.
I don't know if you can hear me, Dan, but you're gone
Yeah.
quiet. Hold on. All right.
It's all right.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I didn't do anything, but I can hear you. Yeah, loud and clear.
You know, but then again, it's probably, it's not really my cup of tea. Like, you know, it wouldn't be my cup of tea going down there. It's not really my cup of tea going down to Pattaya, to be honest with you. Like, you know,
I only do it, Dan, because over the years I've been coming here, I've got a lot of friends in Pattaya.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's different, you know.
And I miss them. I really do.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't go there for the mongering or to see the girl. I mean, I'm a human being.
You know,
I quite like bars where
let me
girls
put
are
an
nice,
example.
whatever. But that's not why I
put
go
an
there. I go there to
example
see my
across
buddies. Say again?
Right, let's go back to Pattaya Owl and talk about his breakfast. Right, I was staying in Pratamnak.
Again.
Yeah, I had an Airbnb for a month. I did, absolutely fantastic guy. Just off Soy 4, it was. The guy was absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, he was going through treatment for throat cancer, but the guy, his Thai like manager of the place, like we met him and everything like that, me and the missus and all that, right? I take my missus, right? I say to my missus, because she likes an English breakfast. I take my missus to that Bentley's, yeah, on Soy 5, right?
Yeah, I know
said,
it.
apparently, Zhao Ying, this is the one of the best breakfasts around, right? We walk in there, right? Because I'm with a Thai girl, right? Those waitresses in there totally ignore you, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. You got about 16 fans going from the roof, yeah? Now, I don't want to eat a breakfast with 16 fans going onto my food to make it cold within seconds, you know? So you say, can you turn the fan off? And they won't turn the fan off. Right?
Dan, I couldn't agree with you more. That is my big bugbear. When you walk inside and the fans are on your food. Because it cools down so quickly. You put a cup of tea in front of a fan. And, what is it? 20 seconds, your cup of tea will be cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Go on, sorry,
so
mate.
Like,
I just had to agree so much. It's one of my big bugbears.
So you say to them, like, can you just like turn the fan off for us? And they won't turn the fan off. Right? They look at you like you're a piece of shit because you're with a tiger. Right? That Bentley's is probably one of the worst places I've ever eaten in Thailand, and they rant and rave about it, right?
Yeah.
I was absolutely disgusted. Do you know what I
I've
did?
not
And
been
I
there for
don't
food.
normally do this, right? I said, right, can I kip down? Can I pay the bill? Well, the missus, can we kip down? Right? It took them over 20 minutes to bring the bill. I got the bill folder, right? And I chucked it at the
Yeah,
girl. And I said, you could shove this place up your ass, young lady, because the treatment we've had in here has been absolutely disgusting. I was thinking to myself now, I just chucked it at her and she knew then, right?
Right.
There was probably about 5 baht tip in it, like, keep your 5
Okay,
baht.
Dan, I'm going to ask you the important question. Is there anything you thought you did wrong?
What, from apart from going in there?
Yeah,
Yeah, going in there.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm the same. I'm very lucky. I haven't
And do you
had
know
that
what?
many. Gone.
We found a little Thai Branahan on soy 4. It were totally different. And I would eat it. We ate in there every day after that, like, for a month. And they were
Well, I don't know if you know. I can't
absolutely
really add. I can't really add to your
fantastic.
story,
But these
but
guys that rant and rave, like Pattaya Owl, going around saying, "Oh, this is superb. This is a yeah, it might be superb if you're a single man, but if you've got a Thai girl in tow with you, right, and you walk into that Bentley's, you are going to be treated like crap, right? Because
all
the
right.
Thai girl, the Thai waitresses in there don't want to know you."
Okay.
And
Okay.
I was thinking,
Let
should I
me
put
let me
that?
let me give you my little story. In that I'd seen lots of videos on here that said Kung's is the best breakfast in Pattaya. Kung's is on Soy Lenki.
No, I don't know where Soy Lanky. I don't know.
What do you know? Soy Diana. It's almost opposite Soy Diana. Anyway, it's just off Soy Bacau. It's about
I think I know
10
where you
steps,
are.
10
Is it
steps off
by?
Soy Bacau.
Is that Nikom Court place near?
Yeah, yes, that's just over the other side of the road where
Yeah,
Colin
yeah,
sits and where Sub is. So if you were sitting where Colin sits, and you could look over at Kung's. And they all say
yeah.
this is the best restaurant. And I've seen hundreds of people say it's the best.
Mm.
Went in there, Dan, it was okay, but it was no better than Cheap Charlie's.
Yeah.
Cheap Charlie's does a decent breakfast. You can add to it, and I don't know why anybody thinks it's
I'm
so
gonna
great.
tell you.
It was,
I'm gonna.
and also let me finish this.
Yeah.
Also, in Cheap Charlie's, the girls are all lovely in there. They work really hard. They're really busy, but they've still got time to say hello, you old fuck, you old flang. They're still okay. Kung's is nowhere near as busy, and they're just working. Now, don't misunderstand me. I
I
would
know
just be
Cheap
working.
Charlie's. I know Cheap Charlie's because I use my visa agency and she's attached to Cheap Charlie's.
Hmm.
I've not eaten in Cheap Charlie's, but I know where you are now. I know where you are. Where
Right.
you are, right?
Well, the owner of
I'm
that
going to
bar
tell you.
is a really nice guy. He comes across as a London gangster. He looks like a London gangster. He's got
Who?
a beautiful woman with enhanced boobs.
What,
He
Bentley's?
looks like a London gangster, but he's the nicest guy on this planet. If you say, can I do the? Yeah, sure. What do you want? He's a decent guy. Anyway, I'm talking too much, Dan. Your go.
Well, for all the breakfast reviews that Pattaya Owl has done,
Right.
if he got himself down into Buddiram, right, and I know an English breakfast, a good English breakfast, right, if he got himself
Mm.
down into Buddiram, there's a place called Pom and G's, right? It used to be called Jimmy's Restaurant
Right.
in Buddyram,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That breakfast there, right, in the middle of Buddyram, knocked spots off anything that I've seen or eaten in either Jomtien or Pattaya. Because it's
Right.
all jumped up people vlogging saying, oh, this is super, this is super, that was super, that was, and I don't even know why I'm talking about English breakfasts in Thailand. It's something
No.
to say around,
And
man.
also, we can go into a deeper story here. We go into the fact that, let's face it, it could just be money laundering. Because I don't know, you're still in England at the moment, aren't you, Dan? I don't know what city you're living in.
Yeah,
But
I
in
don't
my
live in a
city,
city.
all right, in my city where I live in England, we have a road which is maybe, let's say, to give it more depth, let's say it's 200 meters. It's not, it's about 100 meters.
Yeah, I know
We
exactly what
have
you're going to tell me now.
we have 8
Turkish barbers.
Turkish hairdressers
Yeah,
in this
we've had
street.
we've had exactly the same round by us, mate. And one claimed they was earning 150,000 quid a month, right? And the girls in the local town said, who have got hairdressers, that is absolutely fucking insane. I wish I was earning £150,000 a month. They're putting, yeah,
They're
they've
Dan,
absolutely busting them. Yeah.
they're all money launderers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's all they're
We've had
doing.
exactly the same round here, mate.
I couldn't believe it. And to be honest, Dan, I said to my buddy, I went to watch the football ground that I go to watch. You have to walk past all of this thing. And I emailed my buddy the next day because we'd had a great game. My city won. My team won. I said, I couldn't believe it. How many hairdressers they want in this little city?
Hmm.
And he said, yeah, I noticed the same. And Dan, I told you 100 meters, not even 100 meters. There are 7 hairdressers in
Yeah.
50 meters.
Yeah, I can well
And
believe it, mate.
they're
I'm talking.
all they're all money laundering.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. And they say, look, if I said this on any other stream, they say, oh, you're being racist.
You're not.
No, I just don't want crime carrying on in a city that I love.
Yeah, but I'm not
I
even
don't
talking
want.
about a city. I'm talking about a town in Herefordshire, right? And they claim to be like £150,000 a month, like they're turning over. And the girls in the local hairdressers, you know, you've got your local girls who's got a little business, doing the old ladies' hair and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like, she's turned around. She said, "How on earth are they turning over 150,000? There's not
Yeah.
even. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's something that the government is clamping down, and vape shops.
We're just being
It's
taken advantage of, Dan. Don't you feel
yeah,
that?
exactly, mate. Exactly.
Because
Look, I've got
we're
less
sort
than
of,
2 years
I think
left in
most
this
of us are
country.
decent human beings. Sorry, mate. Go on.
I've got less than 2 years left in this country. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
53 now. At the age of 55, I'm going to be down in his son, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Right.
I'm so looking forward to it.
I still,
It's
yeah, I understand, Dan, and I did similar to you a few years ago, but I still worry about my country. I still got family there, and I think, oh, fuck.
yeah,
But I understand what you're saying. No, I'm away from it, but I still care. I really do. And I think what they're doing to England, it's an invasion that I didn't want.
well, you can go back to the last Labour government. You go back to like I can't even remember his name prior to Gordon Brown. Fucking, you're talking. Tony Blair. You know,
Yeah.
you could talk like in the mid
He was an
'90s. It all
absolute cunt.
started going wrong. Like,
Tony
you
Blair
know,
was an absolute cunt.
yeah, of course
Brown
he
was
was.
similar.
Brown
I
sold
don't
all
know
our
why
gold
all these look,
reserves.
why do all these people want our country to suffer? If I was wanted to control the country, wanted to take care of you, Dan, I'd try to make this country great. I'm not saying the same as Trump. I'm just saying, look, I want this country to be super.
Trump
I
has
don't want
cost me.
other people to
Trump
invade us.
has
Or
Trump has cost me thousands in the last
go on.
couple of weeks in my pension. Right, so I'm not a big fan of Trump.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I'm talking thousands and thousands in my pension pot.
Oh shit.
I've
Okay.
lost in the last 3 weeks.
Wow. I don't know what to say, Dan. I hope
So
it comes back.
I'm not a
No,
massive fan of
back.
Trump, and he's backtracking now of what he realizes that the bond reserves are going fucking tits up as well. Like now, you know, he's made an absolute
So, so
fucking
what have you
hash of
got?
things.
Have you got a private pension that has been affected by
Yeah,
the drop in the stock market? Yeah, fuck.
yeah, of course.
Shit.
Haven't we all?
No, not my
I think I've
my
lost
private
something in
pension.
the. I think I've lost
No, don't
16.
misunderstand me, Dan. My private pension went up by
Yeah,
1.7% this year.
I've
But at
lost
least it's
six.
gone up.
I'll tell you how much I've lost. I've lost 16,000 in my one pension pot in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, but but that's only in the pension pot.
Yeah, you say it's only in the
Okay,
pension pot.
Dan.
It's only.
I don't want you to, Dan. I don't want you to answer this question. But
Mm,
the pot has got to be huge for you to lose that much money.
the pot
So
is
you
nice.
haven't really lost too much.
No, but I still don't want to lose 16,000
No,
because Trump
Dan, you're the
decides
same
that
as me.
he
You're the
wants to
same as
bring
me.
he wants
You've
to bring
lost a bit.
everything back to America.
You've lost a bit. I no, I don't want to tell you because it gives too much away. But it shows me how I am. I'm a really bad investor. I quite like things when they go up, but I hate it when they go down.
It's when it's tickety boo and they're just ticking along and going up, a couple of
Yeah,
grand or whatever.
I'm
Like
super with
you
that.
like that. You
Yeah,
like that. But when you
yeah,
look at it,
yeah.
like I was in Thailand for the duration, like and you come back, like and then you log into your standard life and see what's happening with your pension pot, and you go, what the fuck? 'Cause this is absolute. But it's not just me. It's fucking. It's worldwide thing that what he's done.
Yeah. I
All
don't
for
know,
the
Dan.
sake of thinking that he
You
can
can only go on what makes your brain happy. I think if I'd left my
you gotta
investments in what my dad
there's
had
nothing
said,
you
told
can
me what
do about it.
to
There's
do,
nothing you can do about it. You just hope it stabilizes again, and he doesn't make any sort of stupid decisions again,
but okay, Dan, let me tell you this. The way I invest my money, I'm losing money every year because I'm not doing anything scary or anything that would lose everything. So in effect, I'm losing money, but I'm not losing too much. And I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm not a gambler. I honestly, Dan, what I told you before about quite like it when it's going up. When it starts going, let's say we start off with £50,000.
Yeah.
It goes up to 70,000 in a year, which
Yeah.
it does. Suddenly I got 50,000, goes up to 70,000. Okay, that's cool. I love that. Then it goes down to 60,000. Dan, I'm still winning.
Yeah, you're still winning.
I started with 50. I've got 60. Dan, I'm having a heart attack. My money's gone down. It's going to go down to 40,000 next week. That's me. Most people are more better at investing than me, but no, I hate it. I don't mind it going up.
I'm not
I hate
into
it going
like
down.
crypto or anything like that. Like, you know, I've just like bang, 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 bang into a pension pot, like, you know, and you look at it. And I think the last time was when Liz Truss decided she was going to start messing around, like, you know. And you think,
What a waste of time she was.
Yeah, exactly.
How would you get
You know,
to?
you'd just
How
love
would
to
you
smack her straight in
fight
the
your
face.
way through all the politics of life? Because, you know, to get to be a candidate for prime minister,
Yeah, exactly.
you've had to spend hours fighting your corner to get there, and then you're ineffectual. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but don't these advisors say, look, what you're going to do is this? You know, you've got like some top economists in some of these top universities that are your, you know, like Cambridge or like Stanford or wherever, like, you know, and they're going like, right, you know, we're a professor of economics here, like, you know, we don't advise you to do this, like, you know, because this is going to be the knock-on effects, like, you know, or, you know, it's just, I just can't I really,
Okay,
I
Dan.
do not
So the
know
elephant in the
how.
room is, I agree with you totally about Liz Truss.
Yeah, oh, she was a
You don't think
total
that you
buffoon.
think Trump shouldn't do what he's doing?
Well, I can understand what he's trying to do, but I don't understand how he's going to like all of a sudden, like, you know, be able to make the chip technology all of a sudden. You can't just
No,
pick.
Dan, let me give you my point of view.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's going to do it either.
Yeah.
But I do have a certain faith in the way he does deals. And I do think because he's a bit off the rail and a bit crazy, I think he gets deals working for him. I could be totally wrong. It could be the end of the world, Dan. I don't know.
Well,
But I do have faith in him. I do have confidence that these tariffs are just a negotiating tool to get the rest of the world to say, come on, you know what it's like in Thailand to bring a Mercedes into Thailand or an American car into Thailand is named a 25% tax. So they're already doing tariffs on cars coming into Thailand, and they do it all over the world. I think all Trump says is, look, if you're going to do tariffs, we can do the same until you say, okay, we're not going to do tariffs, then we won't do tariffs. I think it's fair. I don't know, but it works for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, you know, it's just like, you know, it's going to stabilize again. It's got to, you know, it can't just keep being like this, like this fucking everybody's sort of what is the word like?
I don't know, Dan. I don't know where you're coming from. In fact, I think we have to call it and call it a truce now.
Yeah,
we're both not drunk enough to carry on this conversation, and my keyboard is getting really that's hot.
What's the temperature at the moment out there?
32. 32.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah, yeah. It's a bit wrong. But
I
good,
don't know.
Steve. Good,
I'm
Steve,
on
mate.
my
If you've
yeah, temperature 32, time 8:51. Dan, as always, it's been a pleasure, mate.
yeah, it's been brilliant, Steve. Brilliant chat,
Having a
mate.
call at night.
Yeah.
And
You take care, mate.
chat to you again tomorrow. But if you open a stream on somewhere else, I'm too drunk. I'll probably come and join you.
I
Take
won't
care, all,
do that.
and thank you for everybody else in the chat.
Yeah, cheers.
It's been cool.
Take
Take
care,
care, mate.
Steve, and
Be
speak
good.
soon, mate. Cheers, bye.
Take care. Good night.